done messed up, no. Bad news, to beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
Run that shit up, Trey.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me a whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaselina like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a Zoc, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shang Tsung. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Hopper Free. Try to hold me, it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Told them boys we taking over. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I'm making hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that business like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me a whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas. Get your knife and your fork. They ain't locked in with the count and with the speaking to me fart. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad. Got them tied down and out there. Can't do with them steppers. Niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole cart. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our car. And I just made it call. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
I got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look.
City eyes. It's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga. Cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shot in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation voltage and fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50, time two. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. A fiend's taste sweet, told him make me an apple crisp. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, come on, man. Dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad. Telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Poke a stop, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, so tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see profits under this banner. Made my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty Diana. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo. Spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Hate me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yaradon, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah. I can't let no hoe to lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, oh they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying. This shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert. Another cop just stretch the nigga. He a demon, it's an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit, I ain't listening. Is in fact the If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jack the Ripper. War, we gon' run the summer. It's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that. Bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it Young Baby. How you real trigger know them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he said something, I ain't hear him. This shit life. It ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Six shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feed you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow side, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy. Backstage.
Yeah, nigga. Fake ass nigga.
You ain't no Israelite, bitch, you a gospelite, bitch.
Fuck you talking about? Hey,
If that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. How can I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade just line up. Young nigga named the Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. South Coast shit, we bout it. UPK, you solid, Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood, a hood. More than you, bitch. Sharp on shit, I'm bout it. UPK too solid. Fuck nigga don't want war. It ain't enough clips in your army. All the bitches wanna take my piece. All they hoes wanna take my piece. All the nigga wanna take my piece. No, I can't let a dog take it from me. I can't let a dog take it from me. You a hoe study and you dummy. And these bitches really out this bitch walking around like they don't know nothing. And a lame nigga fall for them and get set up for the coins and get gunned down, man down. Shoulda took the time, get a damn no. But I see the shorter and I show her. She could never get a piece whore. You a dirt ass, rust ass neck bitch with a fake ass jewelry. In Tennessee while I'm touring. That's a Tennessee, but she luring. Yeah, that sucker duck bitch ass boy, fuck nigga over that bit mugger. I say, if that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. How can I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade just line up. Young nigga named Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. South Coast shit, we bout it. UPK, you solid, Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood, a hood. More than you, bitch. You a lame nigga down to me. Eat candy, but I'm sucker free. You a little nigga, ain't none of me. Bass up, boy, I fit a beat. Yeah, AR-223. Draco with a magazine. Yeah, that clip run like limousine. I shoot your ass in the spleen. Boy, I bust your ass in a temple. We debating by the temple. Tell the truth, boy, you's a victim. And you squirm off like a lizard. Nigga walk down my road. Why does nigga come down my road? Boy, come down my road. Boy, I charge your ass toll fee. I'm a real big priest, nigga. UBK play for keys, nigga. Commanding to get a damn order, but ain't nothing me to damn kill you. I stuck in his ass like a cat. All weapons, boys full of tech. Boy, like a close comeback. Nigga, I popped off for a neck. If that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. How can I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade just line up. Young nigga named Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. South Coast shit, we bout it. UPK, you solid, Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood, a hood. More than you, bitch.
Christ said,
backstage.
Buck roll.
Sharper than an ice pick on you rappers' necks, and it's feeling like some vice grips. Yeah, that's light shit. Send my bro a kite quick. Ties of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see, most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes, there's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Brothers on them fences, 23 and 1 out. Praying that commissary hit before it run out. Bitches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burner in the low jacket. My co-captain, riding on these whole rappers. My hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury, I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Gun on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip, my bow tie. Waiting on the squab in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip, my bow tie. Living in the squab in my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, it got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably folding this paper origami. My name is pure as the Dasani, my wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. That's why I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Taha Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Lighters in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. It can't, the streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip, my bow tie. Waiting on the squab in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip, my bow tie. Living in the squab in my whole life. My whole life.
Hey, Shalom, man. We're the Isupk, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And today is a day of mourning, man. This is a national broadcast out to all so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And today is a national day of mourning because of all the trauma that was caused on this day. A lot of people are going to be celebrating today with their family. A lot of people are going to be sitting up in their homes, not realizing what they're celebrating. Right. And the ISUPK on the Command and Junior Honor, this is not a day of celebration. This is a day of mourning for our brothers and sisters, the so-called North American Indian, the Native Americans, the brothers in Central America, South America, the people you call the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Lakota, the Dakota, the Blackfoot, the Mohawk Indians, the Cherokee, all these brothers and sisters, man, that were slaughtered on this day in Thanksgiving. First, so today we're going to be breaking down the history. Today going to be a little bit of everything. It's going to be a little bit of Gadite history, of the Native history in America that you didn't know of, and more importantly is the spirit of Thanksgiving. We're going to attack the spirit of Thanksgiving, what Thanksgiving is about, and why this spirit has to die. The spirit of Thanksgiving has to die so the Native American can live. For our Native brothers and sisters to live, they got to realize Thanksgiving is something that's evil. Now, you'd be surprised. A lot of Natives to this day still celebrate it. A lot of Natives that still want to be sided with America, man. When American holidays have nothing to do with us. American holidays like this, the 4th of July, Veterans Day, some of them even going to celebrate Christmas. All of this ain't got nothing to do with who we are as a people. And we're going to be breaking it down here today, especially with Thanksgiving. Right. Thanksgiving is a celebration on the destruction of God's chosen people who are called the tribe of Gad according to the Bible, a.k.a. the North American Indians or the Native Americans, the First Nations people. These people in the Americas that have suffered trauma and destruction. Everybody want to talk about, what's the word I could use? The Jewish Holocaust. Right. Okay, 11 million of them suffered and was put in camps and all that. But no one want to talk about the Trail of Tears. Right. No one wants to talk about the boarding schools. Right. No one want to talk about the Osage crisis and how their land was stolen from them and they was murdering the men and getting the men drunk so they can murder them at night. They don't want to talk about these issues. Or they don't want to talk about how they sent little Mexican school children to go learn under the Spaniards and now you got Mexicans speaking Spanish. Now you got Mexicans with short hair. Like, they don't want to talk about these issues. You want to know why? Because it makes them uncomfortable. Right. It doesn't let them enjoy their feast. Well, today in the ISUPK, we're ruining your Thanksgiving. Right. Send this to anyone you know celebrating Thanksgiving. That's my duty to you. As your Native American brother, if you're watching this live right now, send this to somebody right now that you know is carving up that damn turkey. Right. Send this to somebody you know that's cooking up that nasty stuffing. Cooking all that nasty, disgusting food. And it's nasty and disgusting. You want to know why? Because you're celebrating the death of your brothers and sisters. Right. That's what you don't realize. And that's what we're going to be breaking down today. Today, the ISUPK, we're canceling Thanksgiving. Under the orders of Commanding Junior Hana, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, we are destroying Thanksgiving. That's right. You want to know why? Because we love our brothers and sisters. Damn right, give it up. We love our brothers and sisters. We love the Native Americans so much, we refuse to celebrate their holidays. We refuse to celebrate the day they used to slaughter and destroy God's chosen people. So to start with, Raj, can you give me the book? Give me Genesis 49. Give me Genesis 49, a breakdown on the tribes. Give me the tribe of Gad. And everybody down in the comment section below, if you got any questions about today's class or topic, make sure you put them down in the comment section. Make sure you share, like, subscribe. Hit us with the super chat. It's like, hit us with the super chat. And everybody spam F Thanksgiving in the chat. That's right. Don't put the actual word, but you put F Thanksgiving. I don't want them to block us. But, man, spam F Thanksgiving in the chat, man. Spam it. I want to see it spam. Because we ain't got nothing to do with Thanksgiving, man. For all the evil and the monstrosities they committed on this day, we're going to go over all of it, man. And not only Thanksgiving, but like I said, the spirit of Thanksgiving. Right. It's important that you realize the spirit of Thanksgiving is the same spirit that is in American society to this day. You got that? You got what I want? I got it, sir. Who got it? You got it? I got it. Go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 19.
Or read it with power, brother. Go ahead.
Gad, a troop shall overcome him.
A troop shall over what?
Overcome him.
Man, show him that picture, Raj. Show him that picture. I want the people to see what it means right here when it says a troop shall overcome him. A troop shall overcome. This is a prophecy about the Native Americans about God's chosen people, the Native American Indians, the Lakota, the Dakota, the Cherokee, all these tribes that were overtaken by America. Is it up there? That ain't the one. That's the other one. Genesis 49. Read it one more time, Bunny.
Kanawakan, Gad, a troop shall overcome him.
A troop shall what?
Overcome him.
A troop shall overcome him. That is talking about the American military, man. America's military force overcame the North American Indian.
Right.
The reason why we ended up on reservations, the reason we ended up calling ourselves Native Indians, the reason why we were forced to speak English and French and everything else in Spanish was because they overcame us, their troops, their military force. And this is how they did it, man. They did it by the sword. You see, they want to sit here and tell you all these lies that Thanksgiving was about the pilgrims sitting down and they were all joining hand in hand and singing Kumbaya when they used Thanksgiving to be spread by the sword. Christianity spread by the sword. Catholicism spread by the sword. All their philosophies and the way they wanted to live was spread by the sword. And they slaughtered the Native Americans. Why? Because we didn't live like them. We lived like holy people. They said when Squanto, we're going to go over Squanto, man, who was a sellout and a traitor, right? But Squanto, he tried teaching these devils how to bathe. He said, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. He said, I tried so hard to teach these devils how to bathe. They just couldn't understand the concept of washing your butt. They couldn't comprehend it. When they met, well, we're going to bring it out as well, in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. They said when they met the Native Americans, that they smelled so good, they thought they were committing witchcraft because you wore oils. Right. Just like you nowadays. You walk in the store wearing Fourth Dimension. They go, damn, you smell so good. What is that? You want to know why? Because that's all in our culture. The way we dress, the way we are as a people. They hated our way of lifestyle, so they had to assimilate the Native Americans. Anyone they couldn't assimilate, they had to destroy.
That's right.
Read that part if you could, brother.
Kanawakan, Gad, a troop shall overcome him.
Gad, a troop shall overcome him. Ain't that what happened to us? We got overcame here in America. The Native American is not who we used to be all those years ago. We've been thrown on plantations or what we like to call here in the Isupk, we've been put in concentration camps that they call the Native American reservations. Up until like the early 70s, Native Americans weren't allowed to leave the reservation. You was able to kill and lynch and murder a Native if you ever seen them outside of a reservation. Right. In America. And this was going on in the 70s. Up until the early 1900s, Native Americans weren't even considered human beings. So the same way you shoot a dog in the face, you're walking down the street, you was able to do to Native Americans. Right. But this is a part of history they don't tell you. You want to know why? Because they want to enjoy their Thanksgiving. They want to enjoy the slaughter and the bounty that they was able to gain off of Thanksgiving. Please continue, brother.
But he shall overcome at the last.
But he shall overcome at the last. What we're teaching right here is how the Native American brothers and sisters are going to overcome at the last. How all of us, how all so-called Native Americans, blacks and Hispanics, how we're going to overcome America's political system and their evilness and their witchcraft is by coming together as one people. Right. And realizing the evils of their history. Right. See, American history, they only tell you as much as they want you to know. Right. They don't want you to know that they gained this place by slaughter and destruction. But that's their history, man. Their whole history of America, of this 500-year nation, is covered in bloodshed. Right. And they're covered in bloodshed of one of the most beautiful people. And their words, a most peaceful, beautiful people. He said, I'd never seen in his life, Columbus said in his own diary, I've never seen in my life a more beautiful, peaceable people. They must be enslaved, man. And we're going to be going over it all today. Go ahead. You had something to say, Raj Grub?
Yeah, Carl, so you're saying it's so heavy how Christopher Columbus said that about the Native Indians. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to be a wicked bastard to think of peaceful people that's made for slavery. Mm-hmm. And we can see the outcome by this picture right here. But
yeah, right.
This is what he meant right here.
And this is a perfect example of Genesis, the 49th chapter, where it says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him. This is how they overcame us, man. Right. They overcame us with a sword. They're going to tell you all these lies that Jesus came into our heart at the first Thanksgiving, and we just wanted to sit subsidiary right next to our oppressors, man. They're going to tell you the lies of Pocahontas, the lies of Squanto, that he brought everybody together, and he was just some Indian living amongst the Indians, and he has brought everybody together because he wants white people and Indians to sit at one table. You know what they didn't tell you? Squanto was a slave. He was a slave. He was brought to Europe and forced to learn English, but he escaped. And when he escaped, he had so much trauma and brainwashing, he thought the only way he could really free his people was bringing the natives and white people together at a feast. And we're going to be going over today. First, Raj, I want to start with 1492, the new world of the devil. Because, they started off, when they came into America, they called this the New World. And I want you to start with the book inserts I sent you. I sent you the images of them. You should see them when you get to the chat. They should all be in order. So the pictures that come right after this one. Yup, that's the ones. We're gonna be a book I read a few years back. I believe Officer Thabawan put me onto it, man. Shout out to Thabawan Bun Gad, another Native American brother, man, in the Isupk doing his thing. What he showed me in this book, man, is the disgusting evil of Columbus. Because you got to realize this, when Columbus came into America, the amount of trauma and damage he did, all this started with Columbus. All this started with Columbus because he was sent on a mission here from the Catholic Church to help enslave the Native Americans.
That's right.
To help enslave the Native Americans. Because a long time ago, they looked into the book, which we call the Apocrypha and the Isupk, which are the lost hidden books of the Bible, and he was able to locate the lost 10 tribes of Israel. So he came here to enslave, and that was his mission given to him by the Roman Catholic Church. You can find that in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. But what we're going to touch on right now is the destruction he did in his path. So go ahead, touch that for me, Rosh, if you could. This is from the book called American Holocaust. So we all love talking about the Holocaust here and what the Jewish people went through and what Hitler did. I want you to read. I want y'all to pay attention very closely to what this devil did. I need them to understand. Go ahead and read it, Rosh.
Carl Khan. American Holocaust. Industrial city of Hiroshima was leveled by nuclear blasts.
Now, let me give you all a history lesson since we're talking about World War II. Hiroshima and Nagasaki are the first two ever cities to have nukes used on them. The first ever nukes created were made in World War II at the end of World War II because the Americans, they didn't want to spend more soldiers and resources fighting the Japanese. The Germans were damn near obliterated with. The Russians were taking over Berlin. It was almost done for.
Right.
So now America had to deal with the Japanese. See, the problem with the Japanese, though, the Japanese were willing to go all the way to the end. You got to remember, the Japanese, they invented, what was it? I know Officer Lamont knows. What was that called, sir, when they used to cut their stomachs open? You know what I'm talking about? The samurais, they would cut their stomachs open.
Yes. Seppuku.
Seppuku. I knew you. Yeah, that was considered a warrior's final death. You don't let yourself get captured. So the Japanese were relentless in fighting for their cause and fighting for their nation. So the U.S. said, man, if we fight with them, we're going to be fighting another 5 years in World War II. So we're trying to end it instantly. So they hired a cat named Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer helped come up with the statistics and science to make the nuclear bomb. The nuclear bomb was used on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1942, and that's what he's talking about right here. Read that part again, if you could, brother.
Carl Khan, American Holocaust. Industrial city of Hiroshima was leveled by nuclear blast.
It was leveled by what?
By nuclear blast.
Okay, go ahead.
Never before has so many people, at least 130,000, probably many more, died from a single explosion.
So about 100 and how many people? Give them the exact number one more time.
Coca. At least 130,000.
So at least 130,000 people died from one nuclear blast, right? Continue reading. I want y'all to keep these numbers in mind. Go ahead.
Go. Just 21 years after Columbus' first landing in the Caribbean.
So 21 years after Columbus first stepped foot in the Americas. Go ahead.
The vastly populous island that the explorer had renamed Hispaniola was effectively desolate.
Well, what?
Was effectively desolate.
He desolated Hispaniola. He desolated the Caribbean islands all the way leading up to the American frontier. Keep going.
Recall, nearly 8 million people.
So I want y'all to think about that. 130,000 people died by a nuclear bomb. You know how a nuclear bomb works? It's the splitting of an atom. Splitting of an atom, it melts your eyes, it melts your whole body down. When you die by a nuclear bomb, you're evaporated. You're vaporized from all of existence. What Columbus did in just 21 years, he wiped out 8 million Native Americans. And he didn't have no bombs. He did not have an AK-47. He didn't have a Smith & Wesson. What he used was pure killing skills,
Right.
pure torture. Not only that, these people were so disgustingly filthy. You see, they love to talk about the Native Americans, that they were savages and we don't have no way of lifestyle, but they didn't even know how to wash their ass. I had to say it. They don't know how to wash themselves. They spread so many diseases amongst the children, amongst us. We didn't have a chance.
Right.
Continue, brother.
Recall, nearly 8 million people, those Columbus chose to call Indians,
Go ahead.
have been killed by violence, disease, and despair.
Go ahead.
It took a little longer, about the span of a single human generation. But what happened on Hispaniola was an equivalent of more than 50 Hiroshimas.
What? Read that again. What? I don't think they heard you right, Raj. Read that again.
It took a little longer, about the span of a single human generation.
So about the span of a lifetime. So around that time, about 50, 40 years, 60 years, right? Let's give it some time. In the time span about 60 years. Go ahead.
But what happened on Hispaniola was the equivalent of more than 50 Hiroshimas.
He did about 50 nuclear bombs on the American continent.
Good night.
This place you know as America has always been founded on bloodshed. Their history is filled with blood. They got so much blood on their hands, man. It's ridiculous. If it was a human being, they'd just be made of blood of all the blood of all the people they downtrodden on the Native Americans, on the Native Hispanics, on Black people, on everything they've done to us. It was equal up to 50 Hiroshimas.
Right.
You know how much killing you got to do to be equal 50 nuclear bombs? And these cats ain't have no problem doing it. You want to know why? Because they viewed you as lesser. They viewed the Native American Indians. That's something we're going to go into as well, called Manifest Destiny, which is the whole white ideology of you being nothing and I'm being everything. Any more on that, Raj?
Go
ahead.
And Hispaniola was only the beginning.
And Hispaniola was only the beginning. You got to realize when Columbus first came here, he never even stepped foot on the Americas. He stepped foot on Hispaniola. He stood foot in the Caribbean. So a lot of the people that you know, the Puerto Ricans, the Taino Indians, a lot of those brothers was wiped and enslaved first prior to anyone else. And a lot of them went on the slave trade. And we're going to touch on that as well. Any more on that page or we're going to the next page?
Cool. It is more though, so it's very heavy now.
Go ahead.
Cool. Within no more than a handful of generations, their first encounters with the Europeans, the vast majority of the Western Hemisphere, native peoples have been exterminated.
Had been what?
Have been exterminated.
So what he did in his conquest was his best way to exterminate the native population. Like these people, man, when we're going to go into Columbus and this book called Black Indians, it got a little bit of Columbus's diary and his personal experience with the natives. Now you're going to see how great and lovely he speaks about God's chosen people, about the Native Americans. When he meets them and how comely they were and how polite they were and how much hospitality he showed them. And the devil that these people are is he said, well, they got to be enslaved. They got to be killed. They got to be exterminated and eradicated. And this ain't just the spirit of Columbus. It's the spirit of Thomas Jefferson, the spirit of George Washington, and guess who else? Abraham Lincoln. Right. Everybody, the president they all love, Abraham Lincoln. If you find anyone out on the street today, they can't hate every single president, but they're going to love Abraham Lincoln. That's right. They're going to love Abraham Lincoln, sing praises on him. I'll give you another one. John F. Kennedy went to war with the Native Americans. This is the whole spirit of America. This is their whole spirit, their whole ideology of these people is to go to war with us, is to exterminate our way of lifestyle. Keep going, brother.
Come.
Any more of that page, we'll move to the next one.
I will say the next one.
All right, let's get the next page. Yeah. No problem. Again, if everybody could, make sure you share, like, subscribe, get this video out there, man. Like I said, you know, somebody right now that's being a disgusting bastard and stuffing their disgusting face with some turkey, send this to them, man. Be like, hey, man, I think you should watch this. Come learn about the actual history of Thanksgiving and the spirit behind it. And I hope they throw up. That's what this is about. I'm gonna make you throw up with all everything you celebrating and everything you loving about this holiday. I'm gonna make you hate it, man.
That's right.
I'm gonna make you traumatized to pick up a turkey.
That's
Cats, Raj. After this, brothers ain't even gonna want to buy cold cut turkey, man. They gonna feel guilty. They gonna, man, let me get the chicken, man. I can't do this. You said what?
Some lamb.
Yeah, you gotta get you some lamb or something, brother. Because today, man, is a day of mourning for our brothers and sisters, man. Because what not only Thanksgiving is about, because we gotta remember today we're gonna break down Thanksgiving, but this is the spirit of Thanksgiving. The spirit of Thanksgiving and the spirit of America go hand in hand. That's why a lot of people get confused about Thanksgiving. It's not good enough we cancel Thanksgiving. We got to cancel America's whole way of lifestyle and ideology on our brains.
That's right.
They brainwashed us. They traumatized us. And they did it to our children. They did it to babies. And we're going to touch about all of it. We may go a little bit over time. I ain't going to lie to y'all. There's a warning right now. I might go a little bit over time. But I'm letting you know right now, we're going to touch on all of this.
That's right.
Go ahead, Raj. We got the next page. Go ahead.
Prologue. After with the intergraph with Diego Landa, Brisayon de las Casas de la Yonta, the Captain Alonso Lopez del Avila, brother-in-law of the Orlando Mondero, captured the war of Valencia, a young Indian woman, lovely and gracious appearance, had promised her husband, fearful lest they should kill him in the war, not to have relations with any other man but him.
So this woman was betrothed to a man. This his diary entry about this young Mayan woman, this young native woman that they ran into, right? Now, she was saving herself. These damn devils, they came here with no women. They came here on the expedition. So they came here lustful and thirsty as all hell for all our type of women. Because, of course, we got the best type of women, if you don't know.
Right.
Ain't nothing better out here than a black, Hispanic, or Native American woman. So when they saw our women, they just couldn't resist themselves, right? That's thing number one. Thing number two, they started sending brothers off into slavery camps, sending brothers off to work mines, sending brothers off to fight for them against other Indians. So while they was doing this sister right here was telling them, man, I'm betrothed to another man. My husband told me I'm not to lay with any other man but him.
Right.
Go ahead.
Khan. And so no persuasion was sufficient to prevent her from taking her own life. To avoid being defiled by another man.
So what she did, man, this sister was hardcore. For them not to harm her, for them not to rape her, I'm gonna say it, for them not to take her and take her innocence that she only gave to her husband. She took her life, man. She took her own life so that these devils couldn't defile her. Like they done so many of our women. Wonder why so many sisters grow up traumatized and grow up, being molested, because that molestation demon been put on us since the Spaniards, been put on us since 1492. But this sister said right here, man, I'm not gonna let these devils do it to me. She took her own life than to allow herself to be their plaything, man. Read it one more time, Ross, if you could. I need y'all to understand the evilness on these devils, man.
Come. And so, no persuasion was sufficient enough to prevent her from taking her own life.
So they tried to persuade her, man, to stop her from taking her own life. Go ahead.
To avoid being defiled by another man.
To avoid being defiled by another man, this young sister took her life so that they wouldn't take any of her body. And think about how many sisters had to go through this. You know, another thing a lot of people don't like to talk about when it comes to Thanksgiving, when it comes to Native American history, is the amount of our sisters that were molested, man. The amount of our women that were raped, amount of babies, children that were molested in their boarding school systems. They don't want to acknowledge that because, like we said again, they don't want to have their day to ruin.
Right.
You see, they don't want to have the day of Thanksgiving ruin. They don't want to think about this slaughter and distraught that was caused upon these people. They want to sit there and enjoy that turkey and that nasty cranberry sauce and live it up because why? They want to be a part of America. But America has shown you since the beginning they want no parts of you. Any more on that, Raj?
Go
Go ahead.
And because of this, they had her thrown to the dogs.
So after she killed her, after she took her life, they threw her lifeless body to the dogs to tear her up. Think about that. Think about you sisters out there that would never let another man touch you besides your husband.
Right.
And you saying, I'm going to take my own life so that no one can defile me and I can preserve myself and my husband. I'm not going to allow them to take that from him or me. And then she takes her own life. She takes her own life so that no man can defile her. And then she gets thrown, her lifeless body gets thrown to the dogs. You can't see this hatred that these people got for you. You can't see the disgust they have for you. You can't see their whole spirit since they stepped on this American landscape that this countryside that we call America. Ever since they stood on here, man, their whole lifestyle, their whole goal has been to conquest and to make us subject to them, man.
Right.
Keep reading.
Totoro then dedicates his book, quote unquote, to the memory of a Mayan woman devoured by dogs.
Devoured by dogs. In memory of a Mayan woman that we let devoured by dogs. You want to know why? Because we just had to have her. Just like everything else. In America, they have to have it. Your children, they had to have it. Your wife, they had to have it. They didn't want to lose any of it, man. So they let this poor woman take her life and then get devoured by dogs. Keep reading.
It is important to try and hold in mind an image of that woman and her brothers and sisters, the innumerable others who suffered similar fates. As one reads Torodo's book, or this one, or any other work on this subject, just as it is essential as one reads about the Jewish Holocaust or the horrors of the African slave trade, to keep in mind the treasure of a single life in order to avoid becoming emotional and desensitized by the sheer force of such an overwhelming human evil and destruction.
Man, give me the next paragraph. Raj. While he's grabbing that, keep people what this cat just said. When you think about these things, you gotta think about the Jewish Holocaust. Think about the transatlantic slave trade. You hear about that all the time in school. Black people, they think their whole history starts with the slave trade. That's where that way American school systems have set it up. When it comes to the Jewish Holocaust, you can never not hear about it. All you ever hear is the Jewish Holocaust. We can never let this happen again. Right. To this day, they're getting paid for the things of the crimes that was committed to them in 1942 and the things that were committed to them in 1939. But when it comes to the Native Americans, how come you don't hear about their struggles? You know when you hear about the Native American Indians? When the Black Hawks win. You know when you hear about the Native Americans when the Chiefs win. Right. That's what you hear. You know what you think about the Native Americans? You think about Pocahontas. You don't hear about the true stories of these brothers and sisters that had to fight all their lives and through all these generations. Right. From all the way to Columbus, to the boarding schools, to the Osage crisis, to the Trail of Tears. They don't touch on this or highlight this because of the destruction that they did on these people.
That's right.
They want to just sweep it under the rug, man. And whenever you bring it up, it's always get told you got to put that down. You got to let it go. It was in the past, man. And the ISUPK, we're not letting it go. That's right. You want to know how we're not letting it go? By today, we ruining your Thanksgiving.
Right.
We're ruining Thanksgiving. We're ruining it. Why? Because Thanksgiving is covered on the blood of our brothers and sisters, man. Right. And every time you pick up that nasty turkey leg, it's covered in blood. Right. Every time you eat that cranberry sauce, it's drenched in blood. Right. Every time you eat that nasty cornbread, it's drenched in blood. Right. It's drenched in the raping of this woman. Right. Of this Mayan woman that we just read about. It's drenched in all the little babies that had to suffer and die in boarding schools. That's what it's drenched in. Right. It's drenched in all the brothers and sisters that died by the U.S. cavalry in the Indian Wars, man.
Right.
Keep reading, Roz. Give me that next paragraph I told you to give.
Among indigenous peoples today, the echo of their 15th and 16th century opposition to annihilation.
Slide. Give me the previous page, but I want that next paragraph. You good, brother? So you bring us back to that same page and give me that third paragraph.
Okay, go.
You found it?
Yeah, I got you.
Go ahead.
There was one little child, probably 3 years old.
So there was a little child. There was another record that they got from the books. They said there was a little child about 3 years old, just barely enough to walk. Go ahead.
Just big enough to walk through the sand.
Mm-hmm.
The Indians had gone ahead, and this little child was behind, following after them.
So they were walking through, escaping through. The native brothers, the older, everybody that was of age was running through, and the little baby was trying to catch up with them. Go ahead.
The little fellow was perfectly naked, truffling on the sand.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one man get off his horse at the distance about 75 yards, and draw up his rifle and fire. He missed the child.
So this cat, right, a devil, some random devil during the conquering of Hispaniola, he saw there's a little baby running through the sand, butt naked, trying to follow after his people that were afraid of these devils. Cat saw him. He said, "Oh, well, this target practice." Hopped off with his little rifle, aimed, shot, missed. Right? You think that'd be enough for these devils? I missed. I guess he gets to live another day. Keep reading.
Another man came up and said, "Let me try to shoot the son of a bitch. I can hit him." He got down off his horse, kneeled down, and fired at the little child. But he missed him.
So the devils missed twice. One was standing, the other kneeled down. He said, "Let me shoot him." You think that'd be enough for these devils? All right, there's clearly somebody out there wants this child, this 3-year-old baby to live. There's a lot of fathers in here right now. Imagine your 3-year-old child running through the sand, man, butt naked, and someone's trying to gun your little baby down, man. This was the devilish things we had to deal with when Columbus first stepped on this land. This is the spirit of Thanksgiving. Right. This is the spirit of that turkey and all that disgusting as you think as you saying today, right? Think you saying there to enjoy the game, but we just in here to enjoy the game. That's all it is. We're not here for Thanksgiving. Oh, this is Friendsgiving. We're not even doing Thanksgiving. We're just here getting together. All of this is in the spirit of this destruction that they had for us, man. All of this was for them to exterminate us, man. Right. Thanks to the Most High in Christ, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Thanks to the Israelite School UPK. You're not gonna exterminate us, man. We're here and we're gonna continue being here. And now, thanks to the ISUPK, we got a will to fight back. That's right. We got a way to fight back. This is how we're fighting against all that colonization and everything they forced on our mind. Go ahead, read, brother.
A third man came up and made a similar remark and fired, and the little fellow dropped.
3 men, 3 grown men taking shots at a little baby, man. Little child no bigger than that one, man. They can barely stand and walk. 3 men gunning down this little poor child. For what? For fun? Right. And this is how they viewed us in America. You got to remember, the Native Americans not till about the 1920s were considered people. So all up until that time frame, you would just look at some creature. in their own Declaration of Independence, which we're going to talk about, they called us merciless Indian savages that had to be put down, that had to be conquered. In America's own Constitution. And you sitting here thinking America wants something with you? You sitting here thinking Thanksgiving got something to do with you? You and your simple behind sitting here talking about you thankful. Thankful for what? That's what this is all about. This is what you're thankful for. Every time you sitting there with that gravy and you sitting there with all your family members that hate each other, that molest each other, that can't wait to kill each other once y'all leave that dinner, guess what? This is what you're thankful for. Yeah, that's why you got to say the hell with Thanksgiving, man.
Right.
The hell with Thanksgiving, man. And it's going to help free you. It's going to help free you from the chains of America. America wants you to be so engulfed in Thanksgiving and in their Americanhood that you forget your own way of life. But it's not going to happen. Any more on that, Raj? We're going to get to the next page.
A little bit more, so it's up to you, so you want to read that
10 millimeter kill. Yeah, let's go to the next page.
Go, come. Go. Among indigenous peoples today, the echo of the 15th and 16th century opposition to annihilation, when despite the wanton killing of the European invaders and the carnage of the following introduction of the explosive disease epidemics, the natives resisted with an intent conquistadors found difficult to believe.
Now you gotta remember when the natives you see the America and these white people are such devils, man. They gonna have you believe that they just steamed over the Native Americans. No, the Native Americans gave them hell. Right. The Native Americans put fear into their hearts. They thought it was so bad how bad we was murdering them and slaughtering them. They thought we was devils. They thought we was demons sent from. They thought you couldn't enter into the wilderness or you'd walk into hell, basically. That's why they had to exterminate us and hunt us down so vividly, because of the hatred they had for us. They looked at them because we was whooping their backs. I ain't gonna lie to you. We was destroying them in combat. You want proof? Look up the Apache attack helicopter. Look at the Tomahawk cruise missile. Look at the chiefs and the Indians. They were so mind blown by the way we was just able to murder them, man. By the way we was just able to fight against them. They thought, because they were so superior in their European mindset and their European look coming off the damn boats looking like a damn clown with all the makeup and the white powdered wigs smelling like garbage. They thought they could just wipe us out. A good movie for you to learn about that is go look at The Patriot. Whoever seen The Patriot in here? The Patriot is a movie about this cat in the 1760s, one of the first Minutemen. And the way he learned and taught the Minutemen how to fight the British while they was trying to fight for their independence was teaching them the native way of fighting. Right. The Native Americans were experts in guerrilla warfare. They were experts in guerrilla warfare. And guess who learned from it? The Minutemen, the Mujahideen, all these cats. They learned, they go look back in history books on how the Native Americans whooped the colonists, man. They didn't even give them a chance to fight back. But you know what? Through European supremacy, through them being able to conquer us, and through us forgetting who we are and forgetting our God, and we're going to touch on all of it right now. Through us forgetting who we are and forgetting our unity and trying to join to America, right. That was our destruction. Right. That was our destruction. We don't got no place. We're showing you right now, America ain't got no love for you. Since their conception, since it started with Columbus. Columbus Day was just, 2 months ago. You know what I mean? They still celebrating it. Don't try to tell an Italian don't celebrate Columbus Day. They're gonna put a boot up your rear. You know what I mean? That's their hero. Right. Don't try to tell them don't celebrate Thomas Jefferson or all of them. That's their hero. They got no problem. Look at America right now. Look at Donald Trump. Their whole slogan this year was "Take America Back." Take America back from who? From the niggas, from the Indians, from the Mexicans, from the Salvadorans, the Venezuelans. That's what you got to realize about America. America will always and 100% hate you because it was built off hating you. Right. Any more on that, Raj?
Go
ahead.
Quote unquote, I do not know how to describe it, wrote Bernard Diaz de la Castillo of the defiance of the Spanish encounter in Mexico. despite the wasting of the native population by bloodbath.
So they said the Aztecs, what they called the Aztecs or the Mexicas, it goes out to my Mexican brother right here, Cayabacor, and they was resisting, man, just like he's resisting right now, man. He was resisting Catholicism by sitting in here right now. He's resisting the Spanish way of lifestyle right now, sitting up in here with us, sitting up in here with the Indians, sitting up in here with black people. This is how you resisted right here. He was saying back then, in the 1500s, even though they slaughtered us, they were murdering. You got to go look at what they did to Aztlan and did what they did to the Mayan empires, the Inca empires, the Aztec empires. There was one cat. What was his name, Kale? I know you know his name. The last chief of the Aztecs, Cuauhtemoc. They burned his feet at his bedside while he was asleep. They burned this cat's feet from his body on up, man, to torture him. And they still fought on. These brothers fought and gave their lives for it, man. You want to know why? For you. For they know there was something better to fight for. And now you sitting here all subject to America, out here celebrating Thanksgiving like it's something to be thankful for. To hell with Thanksgiving, man. And you know who taught me that? Commanding General Yohana. Commanding General Yohana taught me how to love my people. Commanding General Yohana taught us all in here how to love our people, how to love the First Nations brothers and sisters. And guess what? We're not going to celebrate Thanksgiving. We're not going to celebrate the 4th of July. You want to know why? Because all of it was found on our bloodshed. Keep going, Raj.
Oh, God. And torture and disease, quote unquote. For neither cannon, nor muskets, nor crossbows availed.
So they said, man, no either cannons, nor muskets, no crossbows. Now, this is all the European. You see, white people, they so dumb. They think they so great. They lie to themselves. Right. They saying the way they conquered the Americas, right, was through their great ingenuity and inventions of them having muskets and guns. Every time I get into a debate with a dumb white person, that's what they tell me. Well, y'all should have invented guns first. First of all, y'all ain't invent the guns. That was the Chinese. We won't really get technical with it, right? Chinese invented guns first. You white people that love you dumb white people that love these guns so much, right? They invented it first, right? You learned how to use it. Esau was blessed with the sword. You'll find that in the Bible, right? But these devils, they said right here, it don't matter how many muskets we came with. No matter how many cannons we came with. No matter how much crossbows we shot at them with. These Indians will still keep coming back. This is what it's about, man. Resisting and fighting back for our brothers and sisters. And you got to have that same spirit here. You got to have that same spirit towards America. You got to resist the American mindset. Right. You got to, and the way you do it is by ignoring Thanksgiving. Having nothing to do with Thanksgiving. Like all the brothers and sisters in here today, man. How many of y'all got invited to Thanksgiving tonight, man? But they not here. Hey, look, you saw that right? Yeah, we got the calls, but they in here with me today, man. They in here with their Native American brother, man. They in here to resist. You want to know why? Because we truly love Native Americans in here. We not the chief and council. We over here showing true love. We're not America. We're not gonna. You see how evil they are today. They had a whole broadcast. Quan tagged me in it. They had a whole broadcast, right, of Gadites from powwows and everything else doing little dances on TV during Thanksgiving. You know how much of a slap in the face it is to do that? I'm not dancing today. No, and here we speaking about your evil, man. We're speaking about the onslaught you are still committing to this day to the Native American Indians. You want to know how I know? Because those Sage crisis. The Oka crisis. You want to know how I know? Because there's a damn pipeline going from Illinois all the way to South Dakota. Right. While they was trying to resist the pipeline, you shot brothers and sisters peacefully protesting because they wanted clean water. Right. They couldn't even have clean water. You already took the land. You took their nationality. You took everything about these people. The last thing they could have is at least have some clean water. And you took that from them, man. That's right. You took that from the Native Americans. Well, guess what? You're not going to take this. And here we fighting back. That's right. Keep going, Raj.
Call. Nor crossbows avail, nor hand-to-hand fighting.
Man, come on, man. Ain't this the Israelites? That's right. You know you can't. They couldn't see us with hand-to-hand combat. You want to see and look at the Native Americans like they were something easily to be conquered. We was giving these devils hell. He said even with hands, we was messing them up. Even with hand-to-hand combat, they couldn't see us. Why do you think they feared Geronimo? Why do you think they feared Chief Red Cloud? They put bounties on these brothers' heads. They couldn't fight it enough that they had to fight. They couldn't stand against what? I'm good, brother. I appreciate it. I'm still good right now. Keep going, Raj.
Calm. Nor hand-to-hand fighting, nor killing 30 or 40 of them every time we charge.
Right. Wait, read that part again.
Calm. Nor killing 30 or 40 of them every time we charge.
Every time they came at us, man, every time they came on an encampment, every time they came and planned an attack, they killed about 40 or 30 of us, but we still kept fighting strong. Right. And that's what you got to do today, man. You got to fight against your family coming together. I get it. It's hard. Your cousin you never seen is there. Your uncle's there. I get it. But for me, I appreciate it. When the brothers and sisters all those years ago that fought, they would have never sat at no Thanksgiving table. Right. That 40 and 30 of them was dying in front of these people. They wouldn't have sat down at no Thanksgiving. To that little baby that they was coming off horseback to shoot like he was a damn dog. He wouldn't have sat down at no table, man. To the sister that you know as Pocahontas that was taken and stolen from a village as a 13-year-old girl and raped brutally by John Smith, she wouldn't have sat down no Thanksgiving, man. That's what this is about. Not sitting down at Thanksgiving and resisting America's influence on our lives. Yeah, right. And the way we do that, man, is here in the ISUPK, we learn and expose what Thanksgiving is about. Right. Any more on that, Raj? Keep going.
For they still fought on in as close ranks with more energy than in the beginning.
They said even though 30 and 40 of us down to the side, man, we still going to keep fighting.
Right.
You're not going to stop us. These brothers, man, that's what I'm saying. Don't ever get it twisted. When you hear about the stories of early America, they're going to make it sound like they just steamrolled over the natives. The Native Americans gave these cats hell. Right. Gave them so much hell, it terrorized them at night. That's why when they first started coming into power and America was born and their own Declaration of Independence, they said, we got to wipe these cats out. The merciless Indian savages. That's why they thought we had witchcraft and everything else, because we were filled up with killing. We was filled up with warfare. We was able to fight back and combat these people. Keep reading, Raj.
Calm. 5 centuries later, the resistance remains.
The what?
The resistance remains.
This is what you're looking at right here. This is the Native resistance. Even 500 years here in the ISUPK, we're teaching Native Americans we don't have to sleep with each other's wives.
That's
Go
right.
get your own wife. Here in the ISUPK, we're teaching Native Americans we ain't got to get high. We don't have to sell drugs. We're teaching Native Americans to come together and resist America. The resistance, even after 500 years, is still going. Go ahead.
Calm. In various forms throughout North and South and Central America.
Go ahead.
As it does among indigenous peoples in other lands. That they have suffered from the Westerns' furious wrath compared with what was once were.
So compared to what once was, man, and America's Western wrath against all Native American people, man, this is what today is about. The downslaught and slaughter that they did to God's chosen people. We ain't going to forget it here. See, you could go today and go eat that nasty cranberry sauce, that nasty uncooked turkey. I heard that they still cooking right now, ain't they? My yard, ain't this? I know my yard knows. I know they still cooking around this time, ain't they, man? Now, I hope that turkey burns in that damn oven, man. What else they eat, man? What the potato salad? I don't know. They chilling? Hey, sweet potatoes? God damn. I hope all that is this. I hope it gets you food poisoning.
They're doing turkey, they're doing ham, stuffing, cranberry sauce, corn, sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie.
God damn. They doing all this?
I love that back in the world.
Damn. Man, and this is what they doing. Like, you got to think about, like, the spirit of this, like, after all these years of bloodshed and downtrodden, to be able just to feast over all this and just not think about it is a form of brainwashing, man. It's a form of brainwashing, and not only on our minds, but on our spirit. You want to know why? Because there's Native Americans right now. When we was promoting this, where Romo on that, man, there was Native Americans telling us, I'm still gonna celebrate. There's Native American talking about I'm Native American and I'm cooking. Come on, Cab, what we doing here? Come on, Cab. Come on, Cab. This is why we're needed, man. You know, this is why we're needed. The ISUPK, we're gonna teach you how to resist, man. We're gonna teach you how to stand up for the Native American Indian. Right. And we do it right here. This starts slowly by standing up and saying we're not gonna celebrate Thanksgiving. Right. Any more on that? Give me the next page. Or are there any more on that? Is it worth it or no? All right, next page. Next page ain't that long. Then we gotta start moving to Black Indians. So you good. Everybody could get their phones on mute. No, you good, brother. Don't worry. Just a reminder. Now again, everybody, if y'all can like, share, subscribe, man, spam F Thanksgiving in the chat. That's right. Spam F Thanksgiving in the chat. Spam it, man. Spam it. Get it. Hey, spam it, y'all, dog. Spam it. Spam it in the chat. Hey, get this algorithm up. Spam it. Man, this is what it's all about, man. Just saying the hell with Thanksgiving and long live our brothers and sisters, the First Nations people, man. Like we're doing December 14th. We're going to be on the Menominee Reservation yet again, giving our clothes and food to our people. You know, shout out to the Menominee Casino that letting us come on down and do that, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Potawatomi, you know, that seen they brothers in trouble and see us doing something about it. They giving us some resources so we could go help them out. Shout out to the brothers coming out with me. We going to be on the res this Saturday. Officer Mayad in the back. Officer Raj Karab. Officer Bunny Up. You know, we deploying on the res, man. They out there deploying out to the Middle East and the Ukraine. We deploying to the res. Right, you know, right. Command J. Hanna sends soldiers to the res, man. Yeah, right. And you know why that's so heavy? Let me tell you why that's heavy. Because all these fake Israelites, right, they going out to India. They going out to Afghanistan and Uganda. And they could go there, Rwanda. They could go there. Let them go there. Let them go to them butt-eating Africans. That's fine. They could go there. We going to the reservations. We're going to the barrios. Right. We're going because what did they say about Christ, man? Can any good thing come out of what? Can any good thing what? Come out of Nazareth, man. Can any good thing come out the res? Can any good thing come out the barrio? You looking at it right here, man. Can anything good thing come out the ghetto? That's what this is about, man. They're saying the hell with Thanksgiving. Right. This we gonna feel therapeutic, man. The hell with Thanksgiving. Give me that next page, Raj.
Go, okay. The main islands were thickly populated with a peaceful folk.
Were they what?
Was thickly populated with a peaceful folk.
See, this is what they don't tell you about the Native Americans. They're going to tell you the way they justify their conquest. They love saying, well, you know, the Native Americans, they were at war with each other. They were fighting. Well, you will read our documentation and everything. Well, let's just deal with that. That's a family issue. We all know that if I got a problem with Kazawan and Kazawan, my blood brother, we grew up all together, you better not get involved because that's a family issue. That's right. That's me and him. We got to work that out. Imagine if someone outside, like we had that all happen to us before, where we had a problem with a cat and he went and got somebody else involved, and now it's a whole nother instance. You hear what I'm saying? That's exactly what the problem was with us. We was having internal beef amongst each other. The different tribes were warring with each other or having beef or problems. But guess what? That didn't stop us from being brothers. That didn't stop us from being peaceful amongst each other. We had rules when we used to capture people. When we used to capture war prisoners, there were certain things we couldn't do and could do. Right. But when these white people came to the Americas, they did not have none of that. They didn't have rules of engagement. Their rules of engagement were what? Slaughter everything living. Slaughter everything that didn't want to be enslaved. Keep reading, Raj.
Go. The main islands were thickly populated with a peaceful folk when Christ found them.
When Christopher Columbus found them, he was over here, and they was a peaceful people, and they was populating all the lands. By the time he left, it was damn near nothing left but the lands to take. Right. He destroyed the spirit of the natives of that land. So when all these other Western European countries started coming over here, it'd be nothing for them to subdue them. It'd be nothing for them to destroy their spirit. Man, drop that, Ross. You got Black Indians over there? And give me page 13. We're going to start going into Black Indians. This is by William Loren Katz. I don't know if anyone read this book in here. Of course, we read inserts up here. in the ISUPK. There's a lot of heavy knowledge in this book. You haven't read this, I please everyone read it. This is a heavy book about learning about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American history. Not only that, it tells details of why a lot of Black people can claim Native in their bloodline. This cat right here, right, William Loren Katz, is a Black Indian themselves, right? A Black Indian. And he was wondering, well, I grew up on the native, on a reservation in Black, but I never felt like a Native or a Black person. So he went into the roots trying to find out why he was Black and Native, and he brought it all out. This is the history you don't know. Blacks and Native American, this is the history they don't want you to know. Blacks and Native Americans, we were family. When they brought Black people here to the Americas, Native Americans went on plantations to free Black people.
Right.
Did you know that? On the reservations, Black people were coming to help us rebuild our society after they threw us on the reservations and try to kill us and die us out, man. And guess what? They saw that and they said, we got to divide them. And we're going to read it right here. Give me page 13. Because remember, this today is not only about Thanksgiving alone. This is the spirit of Thanksgiving. This is the spirit of America. This is the spirit of Thomas Jefferson, Columbus, Abraham Lincoln, all of them wrapped into one. Guess who else is the spirit of? Donald Trump. Right. You know what I mean? This is all the spirit of America tied into one body. And that's what we're touching on today. Give me that page 13 in Black Indians if you could, brother.
Go on. This is the Black Indians book, page 13. Had wasted lives and fortunes on the ideas that these free colonies could be easily destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Maroon was outlast the endless conflicts between rival European states.
Mm-hmm.
Neither side gave nor asked any quarter, and prisoners were few.
Go ahead, skip down to the second paragraph where it says to prevent
Africans and Native Indians from unknitting.
Now, remember, these are white people that wrote this back in the day. So to prevent Africans, so Black people, think about that, Black people in the Americas. So all these people, they was bringing on the transatlantic slave trade. So to prevent so-called Africans, Black people at this time, go ahead.
Go on. To prevent Africans and Native Indians from unknitting.
From uniting.
I was like, from uniting.
Go ahead.
Europeans playfully, skillfully on racial differences and ethnic rivalries.
So these people played willfully on our ethnic rivalries. The reason why Blacks and Native Americans right now have so much animosity to each other, because when we first met each other years ago in the 1400s, when we were reunited as people, we saw the struggle that was going on. Any oppressed people was going to look at another oppressed person and say, hey, man, you going through what I'm going through. We should unite. You know, imagine a bully on the block, man. There's one bully on the block bullying all the neighborhood kids. With the neighborhood kids, if they smart enough, they're going to say, well, you know, there's enough of us to take on the bully. We might as well just do that and worry about everything else after. And that's what we did as Blacks and Native Americans. We came together to fight against the biggest bully of them is, and that is the white man. And when he did that, he played, and this just goes to show you how much of a devil he is and how evil he is. He played on our differences, the little differences we had. He said, look at this cat right here. He got woolly hair. You got straight hair. Look at him. He's darker. You lighter. Go ahead, read that, Raj.
Come. They kept the pot of animosity boiling.
They kept the what?
They kept the pot of animosity boiling.
That animosity right there, meaning they had the differences or the little petty arguments they would have between Blacks and Native Americans. Oh, they kept egging us on. They wanted us to go to war with each other. Go ahead.
Come. Whites turned Indians into slave hunters.
Well, hold up. They did what?
Whites turned Indians into slave hunters.
Has anyone seen the Harriet Tubman movie? Anyone in there? Harriet Tubman movie. You remember there's a scene in there where a Gadite brother was hunting down the slaves. You want to know why? Because white people turned them into Indian hunters and into slave hunters. It's like it. Let's read this one more. Read that one more time, Ross.
Whites turned Indians into slave hunters.
Go ahead.
And slave owners.
Go ahead.
And Africans into Indian fighters.
And they turned Black people into Indian fighters. A lot of Black people, a lot of history of Black people's work in the military started off as Buffalo Soldiers. Y'all heard that Bob Marley song, Buffalo Soldier, stolen from Africa? Y'all heard that song before? That's about the Buffalo Soldiers that were ex-slaves that were drafted into America's military. And guess what? As soon as they were drafted into America's military, the first thing they did was what? Fight the Indians. They said, we got the perfect job for y'all to handle. Go and fight these damn natives on the plains and out there in Wyoming and Dakotas and all that. That's what they used black people for. They kept this pot of animosity boiling since the beginning so that we could never unite. Read.
Call God. Light-skinned Africans were pitted against dark-skinned. Free against enslaved.
Free slaves were pitted against free so-called Africans were pitted against free and enslaved. The Native Americans were pitted against each other for being light, dark-skinned, the same way we got going on today. All this has been brewing for generations, man. This all has been a what's the word I'm looking for? It's all been a side effect of the European conquest on the Native Americans. Keep going, brother.
Call. Black Indians against quote-unquote pure Africans or pure Indians.
Black Indians, meaning brothers that was both black or, had a black mother or a native father, but they weren't fully, quote-unquote, on both sides native. They were ostracized. They made us pit against each other. They said the black Indian had a problem with the African, or the black Indian had a problem with the Indian. Why? Just like it is nowadays. A lot of Native Americans, if you're a black Indian, they won't consider you a real Native American. But Native Americans look like black people. We can show you all throughout this book. Black Native Americans. The whole reason of the title Black Indians is to tell you there's black Indians out there. There's Native Americans that look like you and me. There's Indians that come in my color, Bunny Yah's color, Arumawan's color, Mayat's colors, Kayabakor's colors of all the years, but they made that difference between us into a wide gap so that we could never see ourselves as brothers. Skip down to the last paragraph. Most High Christ. Yeah, skip down to that last paragraph. Let me start at little mention, where it says little mention is made.
Go
ahead.
Little mention is made of the enslavement of Native Americans.
Wait, what?
Little is mentioned of the enslavement of Native Americans.
I thought Native Americans weren't enslaved. I thought Native Americans didn't go through the Trail of Tears and they weren't brought on ships. I thought that didn't happen, my y'all. These blackity black cats, that's all they tell me, is we didn't go into slavery. But they're saying right here, letter was mentioned, made of the Native American slavery. Go ahead.
Go. And nothing is said about the cultural similarities between the two dark people.
And nothing is said about the cultural similarities about the two dark people. You want to know why? Because they knew we were stronger together, y'all, Don. They knew ain't nothing better than black and Hispanics and Native Americans getting together. That is a powerful force. That's right. That's a powerful force. And they don't want to know that. They don't want you to know that. So they have to have you fighting with each other. Perfect example, the GDs and the Latin Kings. That's here in Chicago. Come on, GDs and the Latin Kings, the folks and the peoples. All this was made for you to be at war with each other. And the constant animosity was boiling back then, and they keep it boiling nowadays. You hear what I'm saying? To make sure we're still at war with each other. Up here in the Isupk, we're rectifying that. We're bringing brothers together. We're bringing Native Americans, blacks, and Hispanics at one table, and we're saying we're not celebrating Thanksgiving for the death of our brothers. And guess what? Since we're not celebrating Thanksgiving, we're not going to celebrate Christmas. We're not going to do none of that. We're not going to partake in anything Americanized. We're going to particulate in our own history.
That's right.
What we're about. Keep reading, Raj.
In 1884, scholar Thea Purdue said, quote unquote, by emphasizing the actual exaggeration and imagined differences between Africans.
Hold up, the what?
Oh, God.
By emphasizing what?
by emphasizing the actual, exaggerated, and imagined differences.
So it's saying right here, they emphasized on imaginary differences, meaning the differences you think you got with black people, they're all imaginary, man. They different. Black people walk, talk, move just like you. Now, don't get me wrong. The tribes, we all got our own vibes. The Hispanics, they got their own vibe and how they make their music. Black people got their own vibes, how they move and how they act. Native Americans got their own vibe. But at the end of the day, you look at us all, it's our all same struggle in life and spirit is in all of us.
Right.
The white people can't stand it. I know that for a fact.
Right.
They can't stand it. So they had to do their best to obliterate it, man. And that's what we're reading about right here, is they're doing their best to do away with our life, do our best to move away from that spirit of brotherhood.
Right.
There's a want, like if you read enough history, you'll want to join, you'll want blacks and Hispanics to join together. You'll want the Native Americans to sit with black people. You want to know why? Because we just suffer the same things. Right. They put you on slave ships. They put us on slave ships. They forced you to learn their language. They forced us to learn their language. They took your clothes. They took our clothes. So why do we sit here like there's so much difference between us? Because they made it seem like there was differences between us.
Right.
Because they came in our ear while we was trying to unite. And, look at that black man. He wants your woman. They came to the natives, man. You see that? Them over there, they're trying to take your land. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. Over here trying to make sure we never unite. But let me tell you something. I'm going to show you in this book. It didn't work.
Right.
It didn't work. It didn't work, man. And that's why I love this book so much. And we're going to be breaking it down. Keep reading, Raj.
Okay. By emphasizing the actual, exaggerated, and imagined differences between Africans and Indians, whites successfully masked the cultural similarities of the two races, as well as their mutual exploitation by whites.
Drop that. Let's go to page 24 and 25. Start page 24. Start at the last paragraph where it says, while native life moved peacefully ahead. Yeah, start there. If you could for me, brother.
Cool. You said last paragraph?
Yeah, page 24.
Cool. While native life moved peacefully ahead, the foreigners slipped toward a crisis. Disease and starvation ravaged their colonies, and internal disputes tore it apart.
Go ahead.
The river was full of fish, but few Europeans were well enough to fish.
Go ahead.
Then an epidemic swept the settlement, and before housing was in a place, wintry winds blew in.
Go ahead.
Avalon became greatly ill and died on October 18th after having his nephew, Johan Ramirez, his successor.
Go ahead.
But Ramirez was in Puerto Rico, and his leaderless Spaniards split into bitter armed fractions.
So I'm gonna help you out. When the Spaniards first came into the lands of Hispaniola and all these lands and started setting up their settlements, they were in disarray, man. Don't ever think for a second they could have survived here in these lands without the Native American Indians stepping in and showing them how to grow corn, showing them how to survive in the land and the wilderness. They were even fighting each other. Right. It was in so much disarray. Keep going.
Men drew swords and marched in howling winds to arrest and sometimes execute those who wished to become leaders of the colony. Some survivors complained that in the midst of their tribulations, Africans began setting fires.
Hold up. So they said in the midst of them having wars with each other, they over here fighting for their settlement. They got one faction fighting against one faction. One faction wants this guy to be in charge. One faction wants this guy to be in charge. So while they're over here fighting amongst each other, they said these black slaves started saying fires. Go ahead.
Africans began setting fires, and Native Indians sided with the slaves.
And they what?
And Native Americans sided with the slaves.
Go ahead.
And made trouble.
And they made what?
And made trouble.
Oh, I bet they did. That's what happens in America when you come together. I'm not telling you to go pick up a gun and go try to do what they did on January 6th. That ain't gonna work for you.
Right.
But the spirit of it, when blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans come together, this is what they're afraid of.
That's right.
You coming together because you're stronger together. Because only a black man can understand what a Native American goes through. Only a Native American can understand what a Mexican goes through, or Venezuelan, Puerto Rican. All these white people, they can't understand you. The East Indians can't understand you. The Africans can't understand you.
Right.
They laugh at your downfall.
Right.
They laugh at your distrust. But only blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans can we understand each other's pain. Can we understand what it's like to grow up in the hood? Because we grew up in a reservation. Only can they understand what we grew up in a reservation because they grew up in the barrios.
Right.
That's the only way they can understand it. These other people can't even have a chance of a millisecond of feeling what you feel. Keep reading.
Call. In November, a crisis erupted when Africans rebelled and fled to the Indians.
They what?
And fled to the Indians.
Go ahead.
One authority on slave revolts believed this was instigated by Native Americans, angry over whites using their land. Africans used to freedom in their homeland probably needed no probing from outside to strike for liberty.
Go ahead.
They understandably fled a dying European colony and slavery and saw an opportunity to begin a new lives in the woods among people who also hated slavery.
Who also what?
Who also hated slavery.
So they said, man, so they saying these two people, right, they both had a willing and a want to be separated from white people. White people were using the Native Americans' lands. Black people was out here being enslaved, and they ran into the Native Americans to run and work with them. Why? Because the Native Americans hated slavery. Right. They hated the slavery they were doing to their brothers. Right. You see, this is the history. They don't want you to know that. At one time, blacks and Native Americans, we were as close as we are today here in this classroom.
Right.
This isn't something new. This is old tradition right here. Blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics sitting at one table, sitting together and saying, "The hell with America, man."
Right.
You got a question, Kale?
The Native Indians were killing the white people. My question is this, and this is what comes to mind. Were more fresh batches of them that was coming?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. It was like endless waves. Like they're like roaches. Like once you see one of them, they is going. It's like when you see a white person come in the hood, you know they're gonna keep coming. It's like a roach infestation. Once they come, they all come. You know what I mean? That's what gentrification is. America is a perfect example of gentrification. You get what I'm saying? They came here as illegal immigrants, right? Came here and forced themselves on this land, damn near wiped out all the inhabitants, right? And even when they were giving them hell and fighting them off, they said, well, okay, we just need more white people. And called in more. Because at first it was the Spanish, then the Dutch, then the French, then the British. And everybody started coming. Why? So they can make their foothold here in the new world. That answers the question. You got more on it? You got more on it?
No.
All right, we're going to try to move a little faster. Man, I got to touch on this, though. Give me page 27. Skip to page 27. We're going to touch about, it goes a little hand in hand with what Kayub was talking about. Give me page 27. This is one of my favorite excerpts. We're going to start where it began with Columbus. It's like I said, when you realize on the history of Thanksgiving, the history of America, it all touches on what America is truly about. Like Columbus, he embroidered the spirit of America. That's why they love him. Thomas Jefferson embroidered the spirit of America. That's why they love him. Abraham Lincoln, all these cats all lived with this spirit inside them and loved America so much that they had to destroy the Native Americans. That's what it's all about. When you touch on history, when you learn about America's way of lifestyle, their whole lifestyle was about destroying Native Americans. That's the only way they can see themselves living and existing. We who do I want to start? Man, we're gonna touch about this real fast. There's a lot though. The concept of bondage. Damn. Started, Raj. Or just started. It began with Columbus.
Call verse 27 of the Black Indians book. It began with Columbus.
Go ahead.
For the people of the Americas arrive of Columbus was hardly a blessing. On his first day, October 12th, 1492,
Go ahead.
the explorer wrote in his diary, I took some of the natives by force.
Right.
He later found the original inhabitants to be a quote-unquote tractable, peaceful, and concluded, quote-unquote, there is not in a world a better nation. His response as a European was to say that the Indians must be, quote-unquote, made to work and adopt our ways.
This way of lifestyle, this mindset is what Manifest Destiny is all about. Manifest Destiny is the belief of white people that because they're white, the world belongs to them. Everything is for them to take. Everything is for them to own. And that's exactly what they did when they saw the Native Americans. This way of lifestyle is no different. You want to know why? Because just a few hundred years later, Thomas Jefferson would say it differently. I'm sorry, it wasn't Thomas Jefferson. It was the head of the Indian Bureau of Affairs. He said the only way for the Indian to live is we must kill the Indian and save the man. That they must be enforced and enslaved and to live our way of lifestyle. That's the only way. And that's exactly what they did. You want to know why there's Native Americans celebrating the 4th of July, celebrating Thanksgiving, fighting in America's wars? Because they won. They won. These Europeans won. They made their work. They made us work. And guess what? They made us adopt their ways. They made us, they whole way of killing the Indian and saving the man, that's what they did to us. They killed who we were years ago and made us to who they wanted us to be, which is mirror images of themselves. Now we're slaves onto them.
That's right.
That's why it's so important what we're doing here in the ISUPK, as we're freeing ourselves of this balance of this white imagery that's been on our mind for centuries, man.
Right.
You gotta fight against it. You gotta resist it. I know all these cats and all these organizations, they claim they're doing this, they claim they're doing it. They ain't doing it like the ISUPK.
That's
I'm telling you right now, the ISUPK, we are resisting full front and hardly on the front lines, man. Keep going, Raj, if you could.
The Christopher Columbus, whose unique seamanship and courage had opened the Americas to European penetration, also began the transatlantic slave trade.
Now, he started the transatlantic slave trade with the Native Americans, with the Hispanic brothers. You see, you never learned about this in your high school. Why is that? They always, when they talk about the transatlantic slave trade, they only talk about black people. Why? Because remember what we read earlier, the imaginary differences. Right. They want you to don't think there's no similarities between you, a black man, and a Native American man, right, and a Hispanic man. You want to know why? Because if you don't see that, oh, he went in slavery with me. He had to be subdued like I had to be subdued. He had to suffer like I had to suffer. And you'll see there is no differences amongst us.
That's right.
Go ahead, keep reading.
Go. He started by shipping 10 chain Arawak men and women to servile Spain.
Right.
In 1494, he had wrote enthusiastically to the King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella,
right, about
the business possibilities,
right,
quote unquote. From here, in the name of the Blessed Trinity, we can send all the slaves that can be sold. Good night.
Keep going.
When he loaded 1,100 Taino men and women aboard the 4 Spanish ships,
he said, from here to there, we can sell all the slaves we wanted to. You see, slavery started, and the reason I'm touching on this is because we're about to touch on the first Thanksgiving. Squanto, a lot of cats, anyone ever heard of Squanto? Squanto was the man that they first credit for Thanksgiving. He was a Native American, and he brought together the two factions, the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. They'll teach you Squanto was just some Indian sitting amongst the tribe, and him out of his heart and love, he just wanted to join them together. You know what they didn't tell you? That Squanto was enslaved. Squanto was stolen from his land and put in slavery in England. He was a servant in England and taught English and forced to live their lifestyle to the time he got back to the Americas. And so when he saw white people, he said, hey, I'm used to them. And he used them to wipe out his tribe. Squanto is an original traitor that used the Europeans to wipe out his brother. Go read. Keep reading.
Khan. The crowding and the storming Atlantic crossing took a fearful toll. Only 300 survived. But Columbus and Spain had decided to continue profitable slave trade from the Americas. Serville became the slave capital. Serville became the slave capital of Spain.
All right, we're gonna drop that. Someone, I need you, Bunny, grab me the definition of manifest destiny. Raash, I need you to grab that the article. We're gonna drop that right here. We're gonna drop Black Indians, even though we got a lot in here. We're gonna drop it for time's sake. Give me that article on the first Thanksgiving, the dark history from our brothers, the Potawatomi. This is their source and their history. But I do want to read this episode real fast on Black Indians. I think y'all find it very interesting. Spaniards blamed greed for the horrors. They killed them, the Indians they speak of, because they want to be rich and have much gold, which is their sole aim. La Costas concluded that in the New World, Spaniards had become devils and Indians were the only true Christians. La Costas led a determined effort to halt Indian bondage. He pointed out the Indians died off by the thousands from slavery and European diseases. Forced labor in Spanish mines in the Americas was so harsh that the average worker died before he was 26. He come from their own. La Costa was a Christian preacher or a Christian priest that they brought along here to the Americas, right? And he brought alongside them to conquer this world. And he said amongst them, while he's sitting there looking at the Native Americans, he said, well, these Spaniards, us, his people, has become devils. And the Indians have become Christians. The Indians have become God's chosen. Because they knew exactly what they were doing, the way they were slaughtering us. They are devils. That's why you think so many, you go look at the old Indian movies, what they used to say, pale face speak with forked tongue. Why do you think it is? Because the white man is the devil man. He's the deceiver of the entire earth, the way he enslaved God's chosen people and destroyed them and brought them down. Keep going. Slacky, actually, you got what we wanted?
Taking time to load.
No sweat. Let's get quick. You got let me get the definition. That's why I forgot I had you call. Give me the definition of manifest destiny. Manifest destiny, like I said before, is the belief of white people that because they're white, they deserve everything. Is that white privilege mindset. The mindset they have today derives all the way from manifest destiny. Read what manifest destiny is, my dear.
Manifest destiny is a phrase that represented the belief in the 19th century United States that American settlers were destined to expand westward across North America.
So their idea was not only bad enough when they first came here and got these 13 colonies, right? They said, you know what? It's not good enough. We only should have this much of the land. Right. We deserve all of it. Right. They couldn't be happy enough with these 13 colonies. All the natives they had to wipe out with those 13. No, it's not good enough. We have to have all of this. After the Louisiana Purchase, after Lewis and Clark, after all the fightings and inwards with the Spaniards, they had to have all of it. And that's why the Trail of Tears happened. That's why the boarding schools happened. That's why everything to this day that the Native Americans are suffering and in bondage under of, because America believed they had to have it all. Read.
And that this belief was both obvious, manifest, and certain destiny. The belief was rooted in American exceptionalism and romantic nationalism implying the inevitable spread of the Republican form of governance.
Meaning basically this. Only if you ain't white, it gotta go. That's the basic way. In layman's terms, everything that isn't their way of lifestyle, their ideology has to be wiped off the face of the earth.
Right.
That's their whole manifest destiny mindset. And that's why white people to this day are still saying, take America back. Take America back from who? You own every goddamn thing. What is there to take back?
Right.
You wiped everyone out. You won. This is how much of greedy bastards and dogs they are. Right. Not only did you win and you celebrating it today, that's what the whole carving of the turkey is. The whole carving of the turkey is them cutting up and dividing America. Them eating all that food and stuffing they disgusting face, right? I'm trying to keep it PG, Cap. I'm sorry. I'm trying. You know, them up here stuffing they disgusting face, man, is for the celebration of they got for stealing this land. And they do it every year. They do it every year. And they could keep doing it, man. Because guess what? We're going to have our own celebration. Right. We're going to have our own feast. There's going to be a day where you're going to be begging that the Native Americans don't manifest destiny on y'all. You hear what I'm saying? This land, for all the bloodshed and destruction you've done to these people, you won't have to pay. You don't have to pay. They all believe in that karma. What goes around comes around. Well, guess what? It's coming. It's coming. You see it right now. The wars are all over the earth, destroying them. The economy is plummeting. Illness and everything is rampant. Man, it's coming, man. And you're about to witness it. Damn, but right. Give me, you got the article yet, brother?
It seems like it's deleted, sir. It's crazy.
We just had it. Send it to another brother. To another cat. If I'll be able to pull it up, let's see. They just had it.
I can read it for you, sir.
You got it on your phone?
Send it to one of these brothers. Play that tape while we look for this. While we try to get this. There's a tape I sent. See if you pull the tape up. No, I'm gonna send it to you, Ramon. See if you can pull it up. Please bear with us. Play the tape for the people though while we wait. We're gonna have this tape play, quick 5-minute tape about the first Thanksgiving. Since the article is giving us some trouble. Please bear with us real quick.
American schools generally.
I just sent it to you on Telegram, wrong one. Let me know if you're able to see it.
Tells a conventional story about the meeting of pilgrims and Indians that finished with an amazing dinner. The end. But there's more to the tale. This video will explain the events around the first Thanksgiving and how it's not the image ingrained in tradition. At the start of the 17th century, southern New England was home to a variety of busy communities within several confederations. These were the people of the first light, and they called their home the Dawnland. Political leaders were known as sachems and had been trading with Europeans for over 100 years before the Pilgrims. Relations soured only after deceitful Europeans kidnapped locals to sell as slaves. Permanent European settlement was impossible due to the already high population of native occupants. But in 1616, tradesmen introduced a disease to the Dawnland, whose inhabitants died in droves from a lack of immunity. In 3 years, up to 90% were wiped out in several confederations, including the Wampanoag. Their head sachem, Massasoit, was aware of how close they were to being subjugated by their unafflicted enemy, the Narragansett. He was determined to save his people from such a fate. This was the political world the Pilgrims were about to enter. The Pilgrims were not called Pilgrims by their contemporaries. They were known as Separatists, a branch of the English Puritans. King James hated Puritans and began persecuting them in 1604, so the Separatists fled to Holland, where they were free to worship. But because they feared losing their national and communal identity, the congregation wanted a new place to plant their church. They decided on America and asked King James for a patent that would grant them rights to build a colony. They planned to make a profit catching fish to pay off the debts to their investors. The Mayflower set sail on September 6th. 2 months later, Cape Cod was spotted and 16 men were sent to shore to inspect the area. Unfortunately, the settlers didn't know how to fish and food was running out. They resorted to stealing from graves, homes, and storage pits to keep everyone alive. Then came their first hostile encounter with natives, but no one was killed. On December 12th, they reached New Plymouth. They did not land on any specific rock, but folklore insists they did. Construction began in January. By winter's end, 44 settlers would be dead from bad conditions. In March, they were surprised when a man named Samoset walked into New Plymouth, greeting them in English. He told them they were building on top of a village called Patuxet, whose residents had all died from the recent epidemic. It belonged to the Wampanoag, and their chief, Massasoit, was watching them. The settlers were eager to trade, so 5 days later, Samoset returned with furs and companions, including Tisquanto. Known famously as Squanto, he had come to tell them in perfect English that Massasoit had arrived. After years of dealing with Englishmen, the Sachem did not trust the newcomers. Edward Winslow was sent to be a hostage and declared the settlers' peaceful intentions. Satisfied, Massasoit walked into New Plymouth and was regally greeted by the governor. A peace treaty was created, ensuring mutual protection if attacked by enemies. With the help of Squanto, New Plymouth settlers began to fare better. He taught them how to grow crops and was absolutely vital as an interpreter. To the separatists, he was a gift from God. But in fact, Squanto had been kidnapped from Patuxet in 1614 and shipped to Spain to be sold into slavery. He ended up in London at the home of a merchant who taught him English and arranged for Squanto's return to the Dawnland in 1619. But Patuxet was now gone, wiped away by the epidemic. Massasoit took him in with suspicion because of his years abroad, but needed a translator to parley with the newcomers. He eventually sent his warrior Hobamok to live among the settlers and keep an eye on Squanto. By fall, the settlers had a bountiful harvest and a feast was held to celebrate. Massasoit showed up with 90 warriors and 5 deer for the meal. For 3 days, the English and Wampanoag ate and entertained one another. This was the famous first Thanksgiving children learn about in school. However, the word Thanksgiving would not have been used by these settlers to denote a harvest feast. For Puritans, a day of Thanksgiving was a day of fasting while giving thanks to God in prayer. But the story of Pilgrims and Indians does not end here. During New Plymouth's first year, Squanto had been up to something. Realizing his substantial power as the only English speaker of his people, he conceived a plan to overthrow Massasoit. He persuaded locals.
Pause that. So y'all peeped that, right? Squanto was a hater. He was a hater because of what he went through and his trauma. He wanted to side with white people. So he wanted Massasoit to be overthrown so he would have the power over his people to do what he wanted with the Englishmen. Keep going.
He could command the English to make war or peace at his will. Hobamok was suspicious of Squanto and warned Governor Bradford. Soon enough, they discovered Squanto's plot and informed Massasoit, who was furious. He demanded Squanto be handed over for a swift execution. Bradford refused. The interpreter was too valuable to give up. But according to the treaty, Squanto's life belonged in the hands of his Sachem. Bradford finally conceded. He was about to hand over Squanto when an unidentified ship appeared. The alarm it caused delayed Bradford and worried Massasoit's envoys. Angered and impatient, they left. The ship carried 60 Englishmen planning to build a colony near Boston. They abused the Massachusetts locals, initiating a conspiracy to kill the colonists. Warned about the plot, New Plymouth's leaders launched a preemptive strike to save their impudent countrymen. It bought peace for a time. In that time, more Puritan settlers arrived, soon outnumbering the natives. And while the Pilgrims...
Did anyone pick that up? So these devils, what these devils did is they divided these tribes up, right? These cats came over from a whole nother section of Europe, but because they went to war because of how their treatment of the natives they went with, the tribes ended up going to war with this faction of these settlers. And these cats from Plymouth came all the way over just to wage war with the natives up in Massachusetts because they weren't going to allow their brothers. They stuck together, man. They weren't going to allow their brothers to be overdue by these savages in their mind. Keep reading. Keep going.
The treaty with Massasoit lasted until the Sachem's death. Other Puritans were not concerned with such alliances. Their fanatic religious principles ensured no peace between the two cultures could last. To Puritans, Native Americans were the other, wild, savage, godless. With such an ideology, the outcome was inevitable. If they did not convert to Christianity and surrender their cultural identity, they had to be eliminated. The first Thanksgiving was a brief moment of harmony between two worlds, but sadly it was short-lived. The capitalist opportunities the Dawnland presented, combined with zealous puritanical beliefs, were incentive enough to wipe away the native inhabitants. There is nothing wrong with sharing a feast of thanks with loved ones, but remember the true events that started the holiday, and not the fairy tale.
That's enough, bro. Grab me, You won't see it in my notes. Go to my notes where it says 18th century Trail of Tears, who were the 5 civilizations. Now, I had an article on this, but of course the white man is the devil. They took the article down, which is crazy. It was from a factual source from the Smithsonian, from history.com, from the Smithsonians, that the Potawatomi tribe wrote. The Potawatomi had ancestors at the time that was dealing with the onslaught, and it went into such heavy detail that they had to take it down. So this would have to suffice for right now. This was the first Thanksgiving. All this celebration and everything is come from basically what I could give you right now. That I wish I had the article, but Squanto was a sellout. Squanto wanted to love the Europeans, sit down with them, eat with them. While the rest of the Indians and Native Americans, they did not want anything to do with these people. They said, we have to be conscious of these cats. We got to realize who we're dealing with here. Just because we sit down with them and everything does not mean they're somebody we can trust. That's what they were saying to Squanto. Squanto, because of his trauma and because of him being enslaved and subjugated, which, hold up, wait a minute. I thought we weren't enslaved, man. All you natives up here acting some type of way because you feel like you better than black people because you didn't get put into slavery. You got put into slavery. All you black people that sit here that can't accept Native Americans because they didn't go into slavery, they went into slavery. Squanto is proof of that. He was shipped to Spain and then England, where he was forced to learn English and forced to love their ideologies so that when they sat down together, he was supposed to love them. Right. How can you blame him? The cat was brainwashed. You know what I mean? He was brainwashed. Then he comes back. His whole tribe and his family was wiped out. And now all he wanted to do was take that out on the tribe that took him in, man. And that's what Thanksgiving is all about. Thanksgiving is about anti-brotherhood. That was the whole thing Thanksgiving is about hating your brothers. It's about hating your brothers and loving your oppressor. That's why today we're not celebrating Thanksgiving. That's right. Because we're fighting the spirit of Thanksgiving. We're fighting Thanksgiving by how? By showing true brotherhood. There's nothing but someone get the camera, man. I need them to see it. There's nothing but black men in here not celebrating Thanksgiving. I need them to see this because every time I'm here and I'm on the reservations, I'm telling them that black men out here that care about them, they don't believe it. But we're here at it's Thursday, the 28th. It is 2:00, and we're not celebrating Thanksgiving. Right. And so many of our family members are because they're lost and stuck to the world. They're lost and stuck to the philosophies of these people. Right. And there's black men in here not celebrating it, man. Right. Standing up for something better. You want to know why? Because we love the Native Americans. We love them better than we can ever love America. Those brothers and sisters that I read about before, they would have never sat down for Thanksgiving. Right. That little poor baby that was shot in the head and his brains blown out, man, that he wouldn't have sat down for Thanksgiving. Yeah, right. That little Mayan woman that was raped repeatedly and took her own life so a man couldn't defile her and fed to the dogs, she would have never celebrated Thanksgiving. That's right. So that's what we got to stand for. I'll give you another one. Chief Red Cloud would have never celebrated Thanksgiving. Sitting Bull, who the Yale Skull and Bones Society still got his skull. Why do they have that? Why do they have this man's skull? After they murdered and slaughtered him and did away with our people, why do they still have Geronimo's skull? You want to know why? Because they're using it as a trophy, man. The brother can't even rest in peace. He can't even rest. Yeah, the skull, I got it in the article. We might not be able to touch on it, but know that the Skull and Bone Society of Yale, the Geronimo's family his descendants have been trying to sue the Skull and Bone Society at Yale because they still got his skull. They got this brother's skull. After they murdered and slaughtered him, they got his skull and are parading with it. There's pictures of them sitting down in the society with the skull right there on the table. That's Geronimo's skull. You want to know why? Because the same way they dress up the Black Hawks and the Chiefs and the Indians and everything else, is they do us as mascots after they slaughtered us, after they conquered us. Now look, this is a Chief, this is an Indian, this is a Black Hawk, this is a Apache attack helicopter, this is a Tomahawk cruise missile, everything they using to mock us, man, in this day and age. The same way they did Geronimo. You want to know why? Because they feared Geronimo. Geronimo was giving them hell. You know what I mean? Sitting Bull was giving them hell. Sitting Bull said, I'd rather die an Indian than ever live one day as a white man. And that's what Commander Johanna is teaching us, man. Rather die an Indian than live one day as a white man. And that's how you better live your days here on this earth. You got that next part I need you for, brother? We're in touch into a little more, if Captain Marquardt allowed me, of course, a little more into the 18th century. Because Captain Marquardt, you know, he being a great instructor and teacher, man, he want to make sure brothers hear this history of the Trail of Tears.
That's right.
The Trail of Tears. We're about to touch on the Trail of Tears and how it derives from Thanksgiving. And remember this whole ideology. I need y'all to remember two things while reading this: manifest destiny and what Columbus said about us. So remember that, the manifest destiny doctrine. And remember that he said we must be made to work and live their lifestyle. So remember these two things. Go ahead, read.
Go. 18th century Trail of Tears.
Go ahead.
Who were the 5 civilized tribes?
Now, the 5 civilized tribes, they were who the white man considered civilized. So think about that. We were all civilized people. Don't ever get it, distinguished. Don't ever get confused. But the 5 civilized tribes were civilized by the white man's standards. Why? Because they started carrying on his lifestyle. They had their own Congress. They had their own Declaration of Independence. I can't lie to you. They was living just like white people. And we gonna touch on it and why it's important. Read.
Khan. Who are the 5 civilized tribes? The 5 civilized tribes are the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and also Muscogee, and Seminole nations, considered civilized by the white Americans due to adoption of certain aspects of Anglo-American culture, like written constitutions, centralized governments, and market participation, which led to their forced relocation from the southeast during the Indian removal era.
So y'all peep that, right? These cats was considered civilized. They had their own constitution, had their own way in the market and everything else, right? And they still got removed. They started forming to the customs of America. These was considered the 5 civilized tribes. These was put above before any other Indians. They say, oh man, look at these. These are the good Indians right here. Right here, they trying to form to our way of lifestyle. We like them right here. That's why they were considered the 5 civilized tribes. Right. They started learning English. They started learning French. They would trade with the Americans, right? So these were the 5 civilized tribes. Well, guess what? The Indian Removal Act started with the removing of them. Yeah, they looking at them. They're like, yeah, y'all good slaves. Yeah. Well, guess what? Y'all, we don't want y'all too close to us. We got some more expansion to do. Y'all got to move. And this is when the Trail of Tears started. Read.
The Trail of Tears was forced displacement of approximately 60,000 people of the 5 civilized tribes between 1830 and 1850.
Go ahead.
And the additional thousands of Native Americans and their enslaved African Americans within that were ethnically cleansed by the United States government.
Now, where it says right here, ethnically cleansed, meaning that our way of lifestyle, the way we lived, was cleansed out of us. Right. We was whitewashed. Right. They took a people and whitewashed them, and I'll be showing pictures I sent to Raj Karab. I'm gonna be showing you how they did it. But let's touch more on this history. Keep going, Raj. This from history.com. Go ahead.
History.com. During the 2 terms in the White House, from 1829 to 1837, Andrew Jackson was responsible for putting Indian removal policy in place. However, he left office before an 1838 deadline for the Cherokees to surrender the lands in the East. It was Jackson's presidential successor, Martin Van Buren, who ordered General Winfield Scott to forcibly evict the Cherokees. Scott's troops rounded up about 16,000 Cherokees and imprisoned them in forts in Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Alabama. During these roundups, the Indians were not given time to pack, and family members, and including children, sometimes got left behind if they weren't home when the soldiers showed up.
Now look at this, man. Y'all always want to talk about the Holocaust. They always want to talk about what's going on right now in Israel and Palestine. They don't want to talk about how they did the same exact thing to the Native Americans. Did not give them time to pack. Did not give them time to even grab their babies out the damn house. Or I'll give you what? I'll give you another one. If a baby was found crying during the Trail of Tears and a mother was trying to give him suck, they'll take that baby and dash him on rocks, man. Take your little child right there like you're Don, hold a little baby, can't be bigger than that, and dash him against the stones. Dash him against the stones. And you wonder why the Bible says we're going to be doing the same to them? Because this is prophesied to happen, man. It's what had to happen. Because we chose to stand with these people. Because you had cats sell out like squantos. You had these brothers that thought they were civilized tribes. And we living just like them. We're learning their languages. We're forming constitutions. We're safe. And he said, yeah, y'all right here. Yeah, y'all some of the first to go. Y'all moving. Come on. Go down to Oklahoma, out to the western lands where the other Indians are already settled. Yeah, y'all going to have to deal with them. We can't have y'all here. And then the devil is such a devil, he came and took those lands. You know what I'm saying? Keep going, Raj.
The Indians were transferred from the forts to detention camps.
They were to what?
To detention camps.
Ain't that where they got the Venezuelans at right now? Ain't that where they got the Mexicans at right now in detention camps? The same thing that happened to them happened to us.
Right.
That's what we got to realize. Detention camps is no different from a plantation, y'all. I'm trying to help you realize it. Everything that happened on the plantations was happening on these Native Americans boarding schools and detention centers. They was holding these people, God's chosen people, the owners of this land, in detention centers. They're still doing it to this day. And you talking about celebrating Thanksgiving. You talking about going and fighting for America. You gonna get you all saw that bomb they used in the Ukraine, right? That's where you're gonna get blown to bits by. Go ahead, go fight over there if you want. Our fight is right here. Our fight is right here to join blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans back together again. Our fight ain't over there. Our fight ain't over there. It's right here on American soil where we can love each other once again. That's our fight, is to get blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to put each other first and to stop putting these devils first, man.
That's right.
You got to say the hell with America, man. The hell with their way of lifestyle. The hell with Thanksgiving. Get that manifest destiny off of your mindset. Any more of that on that, Raj?
Oh, God.
Go ahead.
Most of them in Tennessee to await deportation. At both the forts and camps, living conditions were bleak, disease rampant, and an unknown number of Cherokees died.
Give me the next article. You see what they said right there? They deported Native Americans on their own land. And they want to see they deported Native Americans off their own land.
Right.
And now you got some Native Americans talking about they voted for Trump, talking about we need to get the Mexicans out of here. The Mexicans are your brothers, dummy. Right. The same way you over here talking about deport them and send them back where they came from, they did to you. Right. They can't tell the difference with my damn Native and a Mexican. You know what I mean? You know how many natives I've been with, and they saying there, they like, oh man, that's a Mexican right there. He's native. There's not that much difference between us. But because the white man got your mindset, he's trying to make you see there's difference between us. Remember what we read in Black Indians? The imaginary differences kept the pot of animosity boiling. That's what this is all about. All that make-believe garbage that you think there's difference between you and the Native man and the Hispanic man and the black man, it's all made up. Right. It's all for you to hate each other, man. That's why Commander Johanna got us in here loving each other. That's why he got us in here making sure there's no beefs between us, making sure if there's a problem, we go to him alone. And if not, we handling it in the council. You want to know why? Because brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is what's going to keep us strong. Brotherhood is what's going to keep them from messing with you and keeping them from messing with me. If they got a problem with you, they got a problem with me. That's the problem. That's what brotherhood is about. You want to save the Venezuelans? Man, most high Christ, give it up. You want to save the Venezuelans, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, you got to teach them to love each other. You want to save the Cherokee Nation, the Navajo Nation, the Pueblo, all these Comanches, everybody, you got to teach them to love each other, man. Because even to this day, we still got beef. There's tribes out there with beef like from hundreds of years ago that still can't sit down with each other. You hear what I'm saying? But they ain't got no problem sitting down with the white man. They ain't got no problem sitting down because they think they a civilized tribe. But they showed your civilized butt right out the door. I don't know what to tell you. Give me what we got next from PBS, Raj. Bring up them images, man. I want them to see them. They the ones at the very bottom. I want them to see this, what they did to these people, man. Bring the first one up. Bring them. I want y'all to see this one. Bring the first one up. I want y'all to see. Outside Christ, they need to see this, Cap. They need to see it. Look how they sitting with these people, with us, like we they pets, man. When they first started sending us over to these camps and started sending us over to these boarding schools, they started posing with us like we was they pets and animals, right? Right before they took us in and started wiping our minds of our whole culture and everything else. The last pictures, brother. The last few pictures I sent you. Come on. Last few pictures I sent you. The first picture of the last few I sent you. Where is it, black and white? Oh, I got it. This one? See if we can get it. I want people to see this, man. I want them to see the spirit of America all in this picture.
Good night.
They took them, man, and they said, "You gonna pose here with us." This was when they first got here to the boarding schools, when they started doing the Trail of Tears. When they first started doing the Trail of Tears and started saying kill children and kids off to these boarding schools, they took pictures with them to show the trophies that they gained. You see that white man in the middle? These are his trophies. These kids right here, he got to do whatever he want with them. You know how many children were molested in these schools? Right. How many children were killed? Over 20,000 bodies are being found to this day. To this day, they were buried underneath the schools. Right. No one told them about it. No one brought it up till one day they started digging. They demolished an Indian school. I think it was in South Dakota that started, or in Canada. They demolished the school and they was gonna build something. They was gonna build a new building on top of it. So when they demolished the school, they started burying and they started finding bodies of little babies. 400 bodies of little babies underneath the school. Now it's up to 20,000 because these were their trophies. They got to choose what they wanted to do with us, man. And you sitting here talking about a Thanksgiving. Man, the hell with your Thanksgiving. Right. The hell with your Thanksgiving. You wondering why we so mad about it? Why aren't you mad about it? Right. Look how they posed us, man. He's sitting up there all pride because he know he about to molest all of them. He know he about to take the warrior spirit out of all of them. You seen up there, man? These are killers right here. These are cats that had to survive the wilderness and the coldness of the American landscape. And then he got here posing with them. Give me the other pictures, Raj. The ones right next to him.
If I may.
Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say, just if you see on the side of both of them, it looks like Benedict Arnold.
Say it one more time.
It looks like Benedict Arnold. You got two of the same tribe that's on both sides of this. I guess you will say priest.
Wannabe.
Put it back on the screen if you could, Baba Shah.
Yeah, I wanted this one, but he wanted to see the other one. Just keep that open and just open the other one. You good, don't worry. Go ahead, cause I don't want.
So let's look at this. We got a Catholic priest that's right over the ones that, of course, they beautifying. And then you got two men on the side of them, right? And both of them are what? they indigenous men.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's just like we dealt with the black man, in America. When we dealt with, the what we call Uncle Toms that work with the men to see us be oppressed.
Absolutely.
Those men are oppressed.
Absolutely.
And they got men on the this Catholic priest got somebody on the side of him that is helping him oppress their own people.
Absolutely.
This is disgusting. This is what I wanted to show. Like at the end of the day, we've been doing this for a long time. We doing it now. T. Jakes is one of those two men on the side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Creflo Dollar is one of those two men on the side. Al Sharpton. Commander Jimmy Honda has been teaching us to not be that man that helps us put our own people down, just like those two men has put our own people down for.
Right.
No, that was it.
No, Most High in Christ, brother. Damn right. We're gonna touch on that too. In the Trail of Tears, man, in all of this, there was brothers selling each other out. There was tribes, the water, brother. There was tribes selling each other out on hoping to get a leg above them in grace of the white man. It's always been like that. In the Civil War, they had two different tribes fighting against each other. The Cherokee were fighting one side, the Apaches another. They've always done that with us. In the Indian Wars, in the War 1812, all these wars, they united us against each other. You're seeing right here. This is a before and after shot. The way these brothers lived and their lifestyle was before and how they are now. That was the transformation of the Indian schools. This is what they did to them. Took away their whole warrior spirit. Took away their whole ancestry, the way they lived, the way they existed, and whitewashed all of it, man. You heard of them whitewashing history before. Have you ever heard of them whitewashing people? That's what this is. They took them and made them live. And you wonder why now you got Native Americans talking about I don't consider myself Indian. I don't want to be associated with that. Me and Mayad and the other brothers that went with us to a powwow, there was a brother that was a code talker. He said he married a white woman and his daughters want nothing to do with being Native. They find it as being disgusting. You want to know why? Because they got that mindset still. They got the mindset that these babies were forced to endure, that being an Indian is disgusting and being Native American is disgusting and being white is pure. And you know who else got that mindset? Black people.
Right.
Why do you think they wear the blonde hair and the blonde weaves and the blue contacts and try to light their skin? Because they was taught the same as us. Being Indian, being black, being dark is disgusting. You should want to be like the white man. Hispanics, they know better. Come on, K. Albuquerque. How many Mexican men get told to pick a white woman? How many Mexican women get told to sit down, go have babies with a white man so they can get papers and better up in life? And they don't want you to be an Indian. They don't want you to be a nigger. They don't want you to be a spick. They want you to be a good servant. Well, I got bad news for you. Up in here in the ISUPK, you only got niggas.
Right.
You only got merciless Indian savages. Gotta get the hoodie, man. We only got merciless Indian savages. That's all you got in there. And we're proud to be that. You want to know why? Because that's what it's taking back our culture, taking back who we once were. The reason we put on this regalia, the reason we dress like we do, the reason we tell brothers to grow out their hair is to remember those from long ago, to remember our ancestral past, to remember it all the way back to the biblical days. Because they want you to forget it, man. Any more to read, Raj? That was on the reading part. Grab me. There's more? Go ahead, keep reading.
This is the PBS.com. During the Trail of Tears, the primary crimes committed against Native Americans, primarily the Cherokee, included forced removal of their lands, violent roundups at gunpoint, separation of families, looting of homes, starvation, exposure to harsh conditions during the forced march, and the killings of those who couldn't keep up, all orchestrated by the U.S. military, leading to widespread death and suffering due to the disease and exhaustion. constituting acts of forced displacement and genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Key points about the crimes committed during the Trail of Tears: forced removal. The U.S. government forcibly removed the Cherokee and other tribes from their ancestral lands in the Southeast despite legal challenges, pushing them to march to Indian Territory, present-day Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal roundups. Federal troops and state militaries violently rounded up Cherokee people, often separating families and forcing them into stockades at bayonet point, looting, and desertation. While being marched, white settlers looted Cherokee homes and belongings, leaving many with few possessions.
So the way they was doing the Native American Indians, the Cherokee, all these civilized tribes, of course, as they were called, they would force them out of their homes so they could loot their homes. They would force them out quickly so they could have ways with their women and babies. Because the first ones they extradited out was the men, was the warriors. We got to get to what the Bible tells us. You can't spoil a man's house unless what? He binds the strong man. So the first man to be do without, and you see this in the movie Killers of the Flower Moon. The movie Killers of a Flower Moon is a perfect example of what they did during the Trail of Tears and what they did during the Osage crisis. Right. They would get brothers drunk, make them alcoholics, give them drugs, where they would be incapacitated to rule their house, and then they would kill them. They would kill them, and guess what they do? They go have sex with their wives. Yeah, they go have sex with their wives and marry their wives so that they can be inheritance to the land. A lot of that land in Oklahoma now in all them days is barely any Indians owning it. It's a bunch of white men. It's a bunch of white men owning all those casinos, all those oil rigs. You want to know why? Because they stole it from us. You ever heard somebody say, well, you know, I'm 5% Indian. I'm 1/4, 1/18 Cherokee. You know how they did that? By buying the land. By buying the land for 5 cents at the dollar at that day and age. That's why they did it. You want to know how they did it? By killing these brothers. They was killing them and slaughtering them to separate them from the land, to separate them from their homes so they can marry into this way of lifestyle. Now you got all these blue-eyed devils looking like Thomas Jefferson talking about some, yeah, man, you know, I'm 1/18 Cherokee, you know, I'm 1/24 Tomahawk, you know, like just making up garbage. Keep reading, Raj.
Oh, God. The forced march was incredibly long and arduous, with inadequate food, shelter, medical care, and leading to widespread disease, and from exposure, starvation, and exhaustion, killing off the weak. Elderly, sick, and infirm individuals who couldn't keep up with their march were often left behind or shot by soldiers. Psychological trauma. The trauma of being forcibly removed from their homes, losing loved ones, and experiencing violence left lasting psychological impacts on the Cherokee people.
We're going to drop this just for time's sake. We're only going to get a little bit more, so please bear with me, everybody. It's got to be exposed just for the day and age that we are in of Thanksgiving. We can't let this spirit abode in the earth no more. We got to fight against this, man, because they're fighting against the truth every day. So we got to fight against this spirit of Thanksgiving. For every Black, Hispanic, and Native American to be free, Most High Christ, we got to fight against Thanksgiving. So, Ross, I want you to drop that. Give me we're gonna start to wrap it up. I want you to give me the Oka crisis with the Mohawk Warriors. It's gonna be a video. Give me that video lined up. We're gonna start to wrap it up here. There's a lot more I wanted to bring out to show out, but of course, the time constraints and everything out. I'm gonna post them in the chats. I'm gonna post them down in the videos below, just so everybody can get more of the history and everything else. But of course, shout out to Commander Johanna, shout out to Captain Quad for allowing us to have this round table of truth, for us to be brothers again, and to say the hell with Thanksgiving. All of this,
that's right. Man.
That's right.
All of this is important for us to be able to love each other once again. Because that's the problem with the Native Americans. The reason why we got people celebrating Thanksgiving or them not caring who celebrates is because we lost love for ourselves, man. All this was psychological trauma against us. All of this hurt our souls and our identity. Let me give you an example. The Native American Indian is the #1 in suicide rates all across America. One in suicides. Why do you think that is? Because you're in your own land that's been stolen from you and your life means nothing. All throughout history, every time you salute that flag, every time you look at the flag, every time you look at America, you see everything that should have been yours. You seen your whole way of lifestyle. The reason that flag gets to sit high and mighty is because they took your life and strained it away.
Right.
Because they formed boarding schools to take away who you were and stole your culture. That's why I met a bunch of people, a bunch of elders in my days, with my moms at the ceremonies and everything that were experienced living in these boarding schools. And the life they told me was complete hell. Brothers and sisters that lost their loved ones, that lost babies, that were forcibly and taken and subdued and raped. There was babies in there that every baby that lasted or survived in there were experienced some form of molestation by these goddamn priests.
Right.
What about this? In 2019, the Catholic Church, they was facing numerous accounts of molestation. And so, of course, they weren't taking away the righthood or priesthood from a lot of these priests. Guess what they put them on? The Lakota Reservation. They put these rapists back where they started at all those years ago. Right. History repeats itself, man. That's why it comes for the ISUPK. We got to stand up for somebody because no one else going to do it.
Right.
No one else going to do it. I know you hear about the Black Panthers, the Brown Berets, the AIM movement, and all of it didn't last. None of it is standing right now. But us since 1969, we're standing and we're going to keep standing and we're going to keep fighting up against this. Right. If you're a Native American on a reservation, you want to know how to fight this, man, get in the ISUPK. We're fighting against this every single day. We're fighting against Thanksgiving. We're fighting against all this hatred. Go ahead. Play that tape for everybody. I want everybody to see this tape real quick.
Golfers have been playing the town's little 9-hole course for more than 30 years now, coexisting uneasily with the local Mohawk band. But when the course announced plans to expand onto other land considered sacred, the Kanesatake Mohawks took to the barricades, and they've been there ever since.
It was a bloody day at the Mohawk Indian community in Oka, Quebec, near Montreal. Provincial police in riot gear stormed the barricades the Mohawks had set up. There were clouds of tear gas, a hail of bullets, and in the midst of the battle, a policeman was killed. Tonight, it's a standoff, the situation very tense.
What kind of people are you? There's children here and you're shooting tear gas at us.
As promised, the Army rolled into Oka and Chateauguay today. Police barricades that have stood for 41 days were quickly removed, replaced with barbed wire, much heavier firepower, and solid armor. The Mohawk warriors who had so often threatened armed resistance were simply herded ahead of the rolling armor.
From here on in, I guess we're going to be burying each other.
The warriors were nearing hysteria at the sight of soldiers near their tribal cemetery.
Get back! Get back! Hey!
Then something remarkable. Mohawk women assumed command and cleared their men.
Get back, stay back, kick your ass.
Run! Shoot!
Get him out of here! Shoot back!
The warriors come.
Run that plate. Run that back. Run that back. Run that back. This is 1990. This ain't 1890, 1866. This was just a few years ago, brother. It's just like the Dakota Pipeline. The way of they hating your way of lifestyle is still in their blood, man. The way they still hate you, the way they still can't stand you. They were still taking land. Everybody want to talk about the 177 treaties they broke. They still breaking treaties to this day.
Right.
And you got these sisters, man, trying to gain. These brothers are in their warrior spirit, warlike mode. That's why I said, I get it. Women are necessary, when it comes to this type of warfare, but ain't on the front lines.
Right.
They part is to support the troops because at this day, these brothers are in a warrior mode trying to stand up for what they were fighting for, man. I get these sisters, you know, they out there with their men, they out there with their family members. They don't want to see them get hurt, man. But sometimes a man got to be a man.
That's
and
right.
like that brother said in the beginning, I guess we're going to be burying each other. They was ready, set to die for this, man, because that's how you got to be. You got to be willing to lay down your life for your people and your nation.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. You want to know why? Because that's how they gained America. You know how many of them we had to slaughter and kill for them to even get halfway into America?
That's right.
That's what we got to stand for. We got to be willing to die for what we stand for and what we believe in and for our people.
Right.
Go ahead.
Mohawk women assumed command and cleared their men.
Get back. Stay back. Kick your ass.
Gone! Shoot!
Get him out of here. Shoot back.
The warriors calmed down, although not much, and they took to taunting the soldiers face to face.
Nervous, perhaps? You think?
That's Jacob versus Esau right there, man. That's Jacob versus Esau right there, man. When you read in the Bible where it says 2 nations was in her, warring in the womb, that's that right there.
Right.
Y'all we all down. We're making this a t-shirt. That's us right there. That's Jacob versus Esau, man. And that's what it's about. That's us standing up against these devils, man. Like I said, these brothers did it with all force. It ain't work out. Ain't gonna work with us pointing up guns and trying to take the white man out. I'm sorry to tell you, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna happen. But us as blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, us standing in solidarity. And it starts with this. We're saying to hell with Thanksgiving. This will give us that ante up. They'll give us that edge against these devils.
That's right.
Keep playing.
To begin with, it seemed almost nonchalant. The first few Mohawks out of the compound just started down the hill towards the town of Oka.
Hey, this guy's got a knife.
Then warriors began to emerge, showing defiance instead of surrendering to the army as they were expected to do.
Okay, les journalistes, back off a bit. Back off. Back off.
The Mohawks who managed to get through the army lines walked smack into the arms of the waiting Quebec police. The army said there were over 50 people taken away from the warrior camp, including 23 warriors. By 9:30 tonight, the army was beginning to pull out at the end of their 2.5-month siege.
2.5 months. They brought out tanks, helicopters. This just goes to show you can't be like white people or Native Americans. You think you storming the Capitol like January 6th is going to get you somewhere. It's not. You think you're going to be like the Not Effing Around Coalition and shoot yourselves in the damn foot. That's not going to get you nowhere, man. You as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you got to put that same militant spirit back on you, but you got to do it in fighting the ideologies against your people. That's right. The only way we're going to be free. By not allowing white people on the reservation. That's what we got to do. We got to stop allowing white people to intermingle with us. I hate going to powwows and letting white people sit amongst us and stare and awe at us like we're some like hidden creatures off to the side and we're like a damn zoo exhibit. That's not what we are. We're God's chosen people, man, and we're going to take this land back according to Christ, according to the Bible, and you about to witness it. Go ahead, Raj. You have something you want to say? Oh, sorry about that. The water. But you had something to say, Bunny? Go ahead.
If I could.
Who got the mic?
And it's so heavy what you're saying, sir. You know, you're looking at these warriors standing up for what, you know, what they believe in and, you know, everything that they stand for. You know, imagine if we had, you know, just a little bit of that to stand up for what we believe in and what, you know, what we should stand up for, man. We'll be a nation that nobody can't even, you know, touch us, basically. You know what I mean?
Damn right, brother. Give him a hand, man. Bunny is saying is absolutely right. I'm going to wrap it up with this. Can someone please grab me this scripture? Jeremiah 30:16. This is going to be a day, man, they're not going to be able to touch us. They're going to be a day where Thanksgiving is outlawed. There's going to be a day that these people that are trying to subdue us will never be able to subdue again. And it's in the Bible. I know you think the Bible is all full of fairy tales and the white man's ideology, but it's not. It's your tool to freedom. And the white man never wants you to know it. And I'm going to show you here and now. And Raj is going to pull up an image I want y'all all to have ingrained in your mind of that Mohawk warrior standing 10 toes with that with the Canadian Marine, man. These Canadians, man. Yeah, hey, man, I thought Canada was supposed to be the good guys. Every time you hear about Canada, they so loving and peaceful, and they love. Everybody should go to Canada. They want peaceful there back then. They hate you just like they hate us here, man. They hate the natives. They hate blacks, Hispanics the same way in Canada, the same way they do in America, man. Don't you sit here thinking you're going to go anywhere, then you're not going to be hated, man. You go to England, it's the same treatment. You go to Germany, it's the same treatment. They hate you, black, Hispanic, and Native American, man. That's why you got to love each other more than anything else. That's what you got to learn, to love each other first and foremost, man. Go ahead, read that scripture for me, Bunny, y'all.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 16. The portion of Jacob
is like 30 and 16.
Oh, it's like
Yeah, 30 and 16. You're all right, brother. Make sure, like I said, everybody share, like, get this out there, man. Comment F Thanksgiving in the chat. Spam it. Spam it, goddammit. Man. They spamming it right now. All that Thanksgiving holiday crap, man. Spam F Thanksgiving, man. You got it, brother? Go read it nice and loud.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee.
All they that what?
Devour thee.
Well, we read all throughout here, all this history. They devoured us, didn't they? They devoured America up. They devoured the tribes up. Go ahead.
Shall be devoured.
But the Lord said they gonna be devoured. Go ahead.
That's right. And all thine adversaries.
And all thine adversaries, all your enemies. Go ahead.
Every one of them shall go into captivity.
Shall what?
Go into captivity.
For them enslaving us, for them committing these crimes against the Native American Indians, they're going to be wiped off the face of the earth. They're going to be put into captivity for what they're doing even nowadays. Even now in America, how they outlawing, they talking about they're going to send 20,000 ICE agents to Chicago to combat the migrant crisis. Those are God's chosen people. But don't worry, they're going to be 200 million black and brown angels coming to round you migrants up. The original illegal immigrant is the white man. The real illegal immigrant is the Dutch, the French, the English, the Canadian. Want to sit here and speak bad about God's chosen people. And you Native Americans, man, it's time for you to realize your place is right alongside your brothers, man. Read.
And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil.
And they that what?
Spoil thee shall be a spoil.
When you think about Thanksgiving, that's what that whole feast is all about. The cutting of the turkey, the cutting up of the land, the cranberry sauce, the blood of the Indians, the bounty of the feast is a bounty they stole from everything in America. They spoiled us. They spoiled all of America. Well, we're gonna spoil you one day. Read.
And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
You hear that? All those that preyed upon you, all those that sent the damn Canadian Marines to storm you and take your lands, the Lord's gonna let you make them your prey. They're gonna be your prey. Today they the predator. Tomorrow they're gonna be your prey when Christ come back, man.
Right.
Read.
Verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee.
He will what?
Restore health unto thee.
He gonna give us back our strength. You wanna know how we're doing it? We're doing it right here in the ISUPK every day. Giving us back our heritage and our knowledge once again as we're supposed to be. Read.
And I will heal thee of thy wounds.
And he will what?
Heal thee of thy wounds.
And a lot of us got trauma, man. A lot of us got trauma that set in for years and generations, for all the Trail of Tears, for all the enslavement, of all the destruction they done against us. A lot of us still got these wounds. The Lord said he's here. He gonna make sure you get healed of those wounds. And this is where you do it. You're not going to do it nowhere else. You're not going to do it in the Christian church. You're not going to do it in any of these other philosophies and religion. Only in here, under commanding Junior Hana, are you going to get the help you need, man. As so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, we ought to be one under one body as Christ prescribed. Read.
Saith the Lord. Because they called thee an outcast.
Because they called you what?
An outcast.
Ain't that what they called us? They called us merciless Indian savages, man. Right. They said we had to be do away with. They said they had to wipe all of us out. They said they had to kill the Indian and save the man. Well, Lord said you ain't an outcast. And that's why I shall save you. Go ahead.
Saying, this is Zion.
This is what?
Zion.
This is Zion. This is Israel. Go ahead.
Whom no man seeketh after.
Who what?
Whom no man seeketh after.
Go ahead.
Verse 18. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents,
Mm-hmm.
and have mercy on his dwelling places.
And shall what?
Have mercy on his dwelling places.
And the Lord's going to have mercy on you. But for you to have that upon you and to have this mercy, Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, it starts with you learning to love each other.
Right.
And that's why today is a memorial of that, of us remembering those that we lost and forgetting about Thanksgiving.
Right.
Remember the day. Hate Thanksgiving, man.
Right.
Hate it. Do away with it. Expel all of it, man. And have nothing to do with it. Thus said the Lord. With that, we are the ISUPK on the Command General Honor. I'm Precinct Officer 1000 Karyash. A big shout out to the Round Table of Truth for allowing me to do this presentation. Captain Marquard, all the captains, all the officers, and of course, shout out to all the generals and Command General Honor himself, the only man actually putting in this work to unite Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians because he's realized we're family. And with that, that's our time. Go ahead, Raj. Play that last clip. That'll be our way out. That last clip. It should be Russell Means. You gonna bring it up?
Mima Lakota. Imagine how a king is it yours by Kile Hesapa King. Lilo Wakan. Mitaki ate Tashunka with go Tioshpai. Mitaki ina Wambli Zuya Tioshpai. This is a traditional greeting of my people that I am bound to give, albeit it's a short version. What I said in my own language translate into English thusly. Hello, my relatives. I am an Oglala Lakota, and I come from our very sacred holy land, the Black Hills, where Yellow Thunder Village is. My mother is from the War Eagle clan, and my father's family is from the Crazy Horse clan. This greeting is to this day the way all Indians throughout the nation still greet one another, those that still know their culture. This is the only way we present ourselves to one another that is acceptable. We tell you who we are, where we are from, who we are from, our clans, and we do this without ever saying our name. Anything less would be an insult to you and to my people. Senators, my morning prayers to the great mystery always include you and your colleagues in Congress, as well as leaders in all governments. It is an honor to come before you as a spokesman for my people, the American Indians of the United States of America. In these United States of America, this great country of ours, we American Indians, we can be anything we want to be, except American Indians. And that is created by the laws of this nation and condoned by its subsidiaries, the so-called tribal government, and designed for the Indian to fail, to be expendable, to be eliminated. I take you back in your history. After the American Indian hostiles had been subdued and forcibly confined to Indian reservations, it took approximately 30 years, one generation, for us to adjust and become economically viable, contrary to what the anthropologists say and what we even ourselves are taught as Indian people. However, allotments were made smaller, our remaining lands were open to homesteading, and we were forced into reducing our livestock. Nevertheless, we made the adjustment again in less than half the aforementioned time, 15 years, and become economically self-sufficient again. But once again, the American Indian was forced into reducing our livestock. The boss farmer concept was instituted. We were told what, when, where, how much, and how little we could grow. This applied to agriculture and our livestock. Again, we recovered in a time span of approximately 15 years. We were so successful in our third recovery that the American Indians enjoyed the finest of economic times, while the rest of the industrialized world was wallowing in the Great Depression. It was then that President Roosevelt introduced the Howard Wheeler Act, better known as the Indian Reorganization Act, the IRA, which institutionalized the so-called tribal governments, which are not one of our institutions, and it is still foreign to us this very day. We have yet to recover. 45 years later, the IRA, Indian tribal governments, on their own initiative, began renewed efforts at reestablishing their sovereignty focused on the oldest profession of American Indians. That's gambling. Bingo and other gaming operations has been, without exception, a proven initial success. Failure through mismanagement, politics, or litigation has been less than 15%, showing a better than 85% success rate. The new Indian-sponsored gaming industry on reservations dwarfed success ratios of any and all other non-Indian industries in America. Gaming operations have proven to benefit the revenue gathering of all governments, be they county, state, or Indian reservation. With regulation of bingo and gaming by the Congress, we are experiencing repetition of history. One shouldn't remedy success. The results? The United States government, through Congress, once again intervenes to regulate a proven success in violation of all basic and fundamental rules of economics and totally contrary to all laws of capitalism. American Indians are human beings. We are supposed to be citizens of the United States of America. We fought in your wars in other countries. Our Navajo Nation code talkers served and saved this nation in World War II. We have the inalienable right to joint venture with whom we choose, as long as we do not harm nor commit fraud upon anyone. There is no piece of evidence anywhere that proves Indians ever conspired with criminal elements to establish bingo. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, the infamous colonial office of the Department of Interior, and the initiator of sleaze in government, has been regulating contracting on Indian reservations since 1824. This fact alone should convince and teach every student of government that regulation of commerce and enterprise does not work. In fact, it only produces the opposite result. Graft and corruption is rampant to the contracting auspices of the BIA and its surrogate tribal government. Indian front contractors bid for and receive government contracts only to proceed to build shoddy, dangerous bridges, buildings, schools, roads, and dams. The Indian is the scapegoat when there is a failure and is always the one indicted. Contracting on reservations has proven historically to breed and feed corruption within the BIA and now the tribal governments. Within the past 2 years, I personally have attempted to assist 7 Indian reservations located in the Southwest, the Northwest, and the Northern Plains, to no avail. The investors I represented were from various groups interested in establishing banks, resorts, Indian-owned public relation firms, factories, fishing ports, and international trade. I now know that tribal governments do not want economic development unless graft is a major ingredient. The BIA is a major player in land leases being sold by petty bureaucrats for as meager an amount as $40. There is a scandal of monstrous proportions occurring in at least 2 Indian agencies, the BIA's branch of land operations and the branch of realty. I challenge this investigations committee to intricately go into the branches of realty and land operations. The BIA does not enforce its trust responsibility, quite to the contrary. In September of 1987, I moved from the poorest county in America, the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, to the richest area in the country, the Navajo Indian Reservation. There is no difference. I paraphrase the former Secretary of the Department of the Interior, James Watt. If you want to see an example of failed socialism, go to an Indian reservation. The poorest and richest reservations in our nation suffer from identical problems: mismanagement, a bloated patronage system, no checks and balances, and tribal governments' waiver of sovereignty in order to initiate debt. This is not anything new. This is an everyday occurrence in all tribal governments. Problem is leadership. In this case, it is the lack of leadership. Ironically, everyone, including you senators, refer to the allegedly elected tribal officials as leaders. Leaders are supposed to work for a better quality of life for their constituents. It is an insult to my heritage, my ancestors, and my dignity as an Oglala Lakota to have the term used loosely. Many of the tribal officials are honest and sincere men and women who have good hearts. Nevertheless, a vast majority of the tribal officials parasite on the incestuous world of tribal politics. Not as our forefathers, who were the best providers, protectors, defenders, advocators, and friends. The game of who is the most important rules. It's embarrassing. At the turn of the century, American Indians numbered about 230,000, all traditional. With each succeeding generation, we lose our population base and our spirit as once proud peoples. The American Indian statistics of deprivation have remained constant since the end of World War II. All other groups of citizens, fortunes rise and fall with the gross national product, the GNP. The American Indian statistical lines of deprivation remains constant, a straight line. With the blatant genocide of our traditional people, we have less than 50,000 in America today. We are averaging a loss of 1,000 a year since 1900. We are losing a value system as distinct people that sets us apart from the industrialized world. These facts surface in our tribal statistics, and no one attempts to do anything about it except for a few social workers and reservation police. This new statistical horror is women and child abuse. Child sexual abuse is epidemic on Indian reservations, and all you hear are whispers. This abuse can be directly attributable to the schools on the reservations. Education in the BIA, public, the contract, and missionary schools do not teach positive values from non-Indian culture, and in collusion with the BIA, certainly do not allow Indian culture and values to be taught. The fact is, educators continually denigrate American Indian traditional lifestyle as primitive, dirty, and without any redeemable virtues. And the tribal councils condone it. Needless to say, every time the U.S. government has interfered with American Indian lifestyles, it has been proven to be disastrous. In the 1960s, legal services were implemented on Indian reservations. It was a boon for the people. Tribal officials all of a sudden were held accountable. Legal services stepped in, and lo and behold, tribal courts had power to the power of attorney for the people. The result? An edict from Washington, D.C. is handed down, and legal services can no longer represent people against the tribal government, and they can no longer represent class action lawsuits against any government. Presently, legal services are not much more than a mill for divorce lawyer trainees. Congress passed the American Indian Religious Freedom Act in 1978. To date, 6 cases concerning our freedom of religion has reached the Supreme Court. We lost every one of them. We do not win lawsuits. State governments lose. The only time we allegedly win a lawsuit, it is in reality the federal government winning out over the sovereign rights of a state. Once again, the American Indians are the pawn. Now, the major factors presenting American Indian people with existing rights to self-determination. American Indians suffer under a system of dual citizenship, that is, U.S. citizenship and tribal citizenship maintained by the BIA. Only Hitler did that. The dual citizenship is a major obstacle in the free exercise of individual and tribal sovereignty. The continuing loss and attrition of existing lands through various federal, state, and local laws and/or regulations is a hindrance. The abridgment of sovereign rights to remaining lands and the arbitrary monetary policies of settlement of these rights whenever they are recognized. Another major factor preventing Indian people from self-determination, subjugation of the American Indian individual to the laws of government-sponsored tribal governments, and the continuing arbitration of the BIA rules and regulations which have the force of law yet are not repealable. Solutions. The American Indian people's right to self-determination is recognized and will be implemented through the following policies. The American Indian individual shall have the right to choose his or her citizenship, and the American Indian nations have the right to choose their level of citizenship and autonomy up to absolute independence. The American Indian will have their just property rights restored, which include rights of easement, access, hunting, fishing, prayer, and water. The BIA will be abolished, with the American Indian tribal members deciding the extent and nature of their governments, if any. Negotiations will be undertaken to exchange otherwise unclaimed and unowned federal property for any and all government obligations to the American Indian nations, and to hold fully liable those responsible for any and all damages which have resulted from the resource development on or near reservation lands, including damages done by careless and inexcusable disposal of uranium mill tailings and other mineral and toxic wastes. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for inviting me here. It's been a high honor, and especially since I'm the only one invited here today to testify that doesn't receive money from the federal government. Also, I want to I was introduced as a former founder and leader of the American Indian Movement to the tribal chairwomen that you have here, our former associates of the American Indian Movement back in the days when we were gross militants. And so I just wanted to let you in on that the American Indian Movement is a very proud, continuing part of American Indian society. I thank you.
Mr. Means, thank you. You certainly have left us with many provoking thoughts about the problems facing American Indians today. And you were kind enough and wise enough to also make some suggestions. I think that is what this committee is looking for. We may agree, we may not agree with them, but it is important to have some thought-provoking ideas of where we should go from the standpoint of the relationship between the federal government and the American natives.